I'll see you in hell.
Get it!
I'll
Come on, go cruising, cruising. Come on, go cruising. Let's go cruising. Let's go cruising. Let's go cruising.
It's a blast.
Come on, let's go cruising. Come on, go cruising, cruising.
Let's ride.
Let's
Come
ride.
on, go cruising. Let's go cruising.
Catch the bug.
Let's go cruising. Let's go cruising.
What was that? Me?
Come on, let's go cruising.
Cruising out of fantastic.
Ooh, a half hour of that.
Yep. All right. Hello, everybody. We're getting set up. We're getting set up right now. If you could do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button even before we get started. Once Mike gets here, we'll get going. And you know what? Mike's got his camera going for me already, so I could just bring that in here. Let's see.
Put up a display. This pandemic really turned me into a fucking pig.
How's that?
I used to not do this.
Hello.
Hello, Mike.
Oh, what the hell is
What?
this?
What's hey? Look at that.
Damn, Mike, you rocking
When
the
did you
whole
get
Hawaiian
this?
shirt, my guy.
You always had this?
Wind Waker Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Have you always
like
had
it.
this?
Oh, it's
Where you
Wind Waker?
calling
Okay,
from,
that's
Tucker?
acceptable.
Yeah, that's I like that. That's nice.
That's on
Because,
brand.
you know, we're talking about that.
Oh,
That's
weird.
definitely happening.
I was gonna give you shit about
Anyone here a
raiding
fan of Justin
Charlie
Roiland?
Harper's house, but
Where's Jeff at? He's muted.
Oh, am I muted?
no idea.
I don't know.
You can
Oh
say
no!
anything.
Yo, wow! I've been talking to you guys the whole time.
You stupid!
Hey, chat heard me.
That's great.
They're just like they're ignoring Jeff like normal. This is perfectly normal.
I have something to show.
All right, hang
A
on. Let
second. It's gonna take a second.
me see here. This is my level. Mike, what's your levels?
My level sounds something like this. This is what Mike's level sounds like.
Okay, let me get myself in a little bit there. Okay, so this is what I'm talking at, and this is good. Okay.
Okay. Check this shit out.
Debut your Xbox to play Fortnite today. You can take me to Moisty Meyer, but not Lulay.
Did you find it on the? You found his voice on the thing on the fake you.
We can be pro Fortnite gamers.
That's
This
great.
is from the tech pod, by the way. I stole them from that.
Oh,
Discord.
okay.
It's not mine.
Yeah, there's a
Shout
whole
out to Chef Kurzman.
voice on there. Okay, let's see. I think we're about ready to start as long as I get the audio tested. No, I did tweet already though. So there's that.
I tweet too.
I think the stream needs to see you guys.
And
Yeah, I know.
tweeted
I mean, listen.
Specifically,
Listen. Let's not
hey,
get.
there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. Leave me, please.
Hey, you got.
Let me turn that up a little bit.
Damn, boy.
Oh, sorry.
And then let me do this.
Jeff has a good tweet. Jeff's just like,
Well,
there's a
I
Nintendo
don't
Direct
play
in
that because
September.
I'm gonna delete it because Mike doesn't like it.
Well, you know, I appreciate that. It had a good run.
Makes him. If it
Yeah,
makes
it
you
did.
uncomfortable.
Well, you know, I
You
don't want
guys
to be
hear
a
me?
prima donna
Stop
about it.
cheering now.
I would not
Hey,
mourn
you're the
it.
talent, okay? Whatever the
Yeah.
talent says,
I'm
we
the-
have to.
Oh, I am the talent. I like when you say
Oh,
that.
Jesus
talent,
Christ.
dude.
Yeah.
Man,
well,
what the hell is going on Twitter? I open up Twitter and trending number 3, Rouge. What's going on here, Christian? What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. That wasn't me.
Oh,
I think that might
Christian.
be for you specifically, Sean.
I mean,
think
yes,
That's
but
for you
also.
specifically. That's catering for
I'm going to
you.
trending, and number 3 is fascist Republicans. So,
Yeah,
that's
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Alright.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hell yeah, brother.
all right.
Hell yeah, yeet.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna start. Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
Make Toad
It's
like a
Mike
Republican
Rocco.
conservative.
He does
I
look like
wish.
Rocco.
I got a friend. My one friend likes Rocco. I literally got him Rocco's shirt for his birthday one time. I'm getting this because we're talking about how this game is getting announced in September, by the way.
What?
Yeah. No one
Yeah.
believed me, so I got a fucking shirt.
All right, let's start this thing. Cause I want to talk about the shirt. You ready?
Do you have the music?
Yeah. Now you guys get out of here.
We didn't hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
so
didn't hear the music.
I didn't change my thing. I was gonna. You guys should hear it.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start.
Oh nope. Go XLR. There we go.
I don't hear it.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Turns out.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering.
You guys hear it?
There we go.
All right. Cool.
Yes,
I
yes,
heard
we
it now.
hear
Thank you.
Yeah, Chad should hear it. You guys were hearing it
Yeah, they
fine.
heard it.
Man,
They
Mike
hear
has
it.
to hear it because he's the host.
All
heard
right,
it.
I'm counting down. Get out of here. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof! Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs.
Woof, woof, ruff,
2
ruff.
days! There's going to be a Nintendo Direct in September. Really? We're saying it. We're putting it on the line. We've been being coy about this, I guess, Jeff, and it seems like people aren't really taking us
I
seriously.
think people are just tired of
Burnt
being
out.
burned in general. Yes.
Yeah. But we had never committed to it before, and we are committing to it. There's
Yeah.
going to be a Nintendo Direct in September, and we are going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about our favorite sports game released on a Nintendo console. And I have been playing the Cowabunga collection on the Switch, and I'm excited to talk about that. Jeff, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I am. We did the Bombcast earlier. It's been a nice busy day. I got a lot done. We've been doing a ton of quick looks, so I feel productive. But yeah, mostly it's just kind of going good over here. I'm excited because I think we're gonna go pick some apples at the apple orchard.
Ew, gross.
Yeah, right. In Colorado, that you had to drive a long way to get to anything like that. They really didn't have apple orchards at all. You should move there. You would like it.
I would like that. I would like the lack of apples, which I find disgusting. Chat was complaining that I was louder than you, and I had to tell them it's because I was screaming.
Yeah,
which I am ought to do sometimes.
I'm getting it adjusted. Everybody, don't worry. It'll be fine. You don't worry your pretty
not
little heads.
Jeff's fault.
Yes.
It's my fault. Because Jeff's always like, Mike, give me a level. I'm like, yeah, okay, here's your level. Then we start the show. I'm like, woof woof. Ah!
Well, there we go. So we should be dialed in with the audio now.
Yeah, speaking about dialed in, what's not dialed in is my wardrobe. I've been getting louder clothes lately. I'm looking for stuff beyond the graphic tees. And
So- Have you always had this Wind Waker Hawaiian shirt?
no, it's actually somewhat prodigious. Is that a word? AJ was at the
It's
mall.
a word. Yeah, I don't know if it replies.
AJ was just at the fucking local mall. He's like, haha, they have this shirt. And I had to, call
Serendipitous.
him,
It's
and
serendipitous is what you're
that's
looking
the
for.
word. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, buy me that shirt, please. Just at the mall somewhere. So, but it's
That's
good
incredible.
because, to be clear, guys, the one thing we are very, very sure is getting announced at this direct are the Wind Waker Twilight Princess ports for Switch.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think there's going to be a lot of Zelda stuff at this thing. I think this is a Zelda blowout for Nintendo. We're jumping into it, Mike. Is that what's happening?
Let's do it. Let's just let's dive right in.
So, 100% there is a Nintendo Direct in September. It's that simple. There is still some uncertainty about whether this will be a general, maybe a mini. There was some talk of it being a partner direct. I know that was happening on the FAMI boards, which is a pretty big Nintendo community, I suppose. I joined it. It was fun. I went out and hung out there with those people today.
Do they like my shirt?
They would love your shirt. Absolutely. The things that I've been hearing, I mean, listen, if they're going to have Zelda stuff there, this is not a partner direct, right? And those are the things we've been hearing, is that there would definitely be some Zelda stuff there. And the specifics that were name dropped were Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD ports to the Switch, which, again, every time this comes up, Mike, even had we not heard that, I would be speculating that would be happening right now while we wait for the run up to Breath of the Wild 2. And yet we have heard that, and we've heard we've heard other things. Again, Metroid Prime Remaster, that sounds like it's got to get announced at something like this. And then third parties will be showing up. I've heard some of that as well. I'm not gonna say exactly what. It's not super exciting, the things I've heard anyhow, so don't worry about that. But so, to me, it sounds like at least a mini direct. But if it's gonna have like the name of the next Zelda, which seems like a distinct possibility, that sounds like a big general direct. And that's a pretty good like tent pole to hold up any other announcements they want to do. Do you think they have anything beyond Zelda, or do they like put out a direct and it ends with, okay, here's just a bam 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 of Zelda news?
The only thing I am super like willing to kind of put myself out there for is the Wind Waker Twilight Princess stuff.
Okay.
Everything outside of that is maybe more speculation. Like the Metroid Prime thing seems like it should be happening. It's a lot of remasters to announce in one thing, but like maybe that'll be a little bit of a theme here. I think we will finally get like a release date for Advance Wars. I know you sometimes wonder, is that just going to get shown?
I think it's just a possibility. I don't think that's actually going to happen. I just think it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I think that is going to happen. I think it might like get thrown into like some just like whatever time frame. It might not get a whole lot of fanfare. I think it's going to come out at some point this fall. But like this one, like our Twilight Princess thing, Jeff. What's the number one question we have got on this show since we have done it?
Yeah, I mean there was a few others, and then at a certain point, once all those got answered, it was 100% Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, absolutely, for a very long time. I mean, for as long as we've been doing this show, which is a little bit over a year now, this has been a rumor. And I think it's been a rumor because Nintendo really does finish games, get stuff ready for the Switch, and then holds on to them. And every time we talk about that and we say that that's a thing, I think people might imagine, okay, they're doing that with 1, 2, maybe 3 games. The suggestion to me from people who know even more is that it's actually maybe even more than that. They do this way more often than we think. At least recently, they've been doing this way more often than we think. So the idea that they have Metroid Prime Remaster ready to go and Zelda ports ready to go and a Fire Emblem game that has basically been done for a very long time, like all these things are likely very true. And the question is just like, when does Nintendo find the time to announce them and then release them? I guess I'd be a little surprised if we get all of those in one go. Like if this is like the Metroid Prime is announced now, comes out this holiday. The Zelda ports are announced, come out, very soon, so that we can get Breath of the Wild 2 hopefully in spring, if it's not late next year, which also is a possibility. Do we also then get Fire Emblem and all these other ones that they've been holding on to? Why would they hold on to them to announce and release them back to back to back to back like so quickly? Right. But maybe they are. Maybe that is the plan. Maybe that is like, oh, we've got to get these out because we have bigger things coming up in whatever the Mario team is doing, the Zelda or Switch Pro /2, whatever that ends up looking like in a year to 18 months, whatever that time frame is. So maybe they're like, oh, we do have to get all these games out now. I'm just wondering if you think there's anything beyond that, or do you think they like hold on to like something like a Fire Emblem?
I could see them announcing the Fire Emblem, and maybe they don't say much about it, except that is coming. I think another distinct possibility here is what's next for Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, they could announce the September game for Nintendo 64, but this could be where they announce a new platform. This could be where they talk about Game Boy Color, right? I hope so. Yeah, I mean, we are in the time of year when they first announced it, right? Or when you could first subscribe to it. Like this is when most people's resubscription stuff is coming up, and not for the $50 version, but for the $20 version. So Game Boy Color for the $20 version of Nintendo Switch Online as an incentive to keep people around and to attract new people at about the time of year where you would need to do that most.
again, this stuff just lines up circumstantially, and I am willing to bet that that is something that could happen. Not that I know or have heard, but we've heard that one for a long time, and maybe this is another one of those things where that's done and ready to go, and they're just waiting for the right time to launch it.
Jeff, do we know when in September we can expect either this thing to get announced or when it's going to happen?
Yeah, so I mean, I've heard that it was going to be in the week of the 12th is what I've heard from a pretty good source. But when Quarter Dan, the mysterious person who was dropping off information in the Giant Bomb chat today, he said could happen as soon as next week is what he said. I think, doing it the week of Labor Day maybe could happen. I just think it's a little bit more likely to happen that week after Labor Day and before Tokyo Game Show, on top of I did hear it was that week. So, the 13th, the 14th, depending on the time zones, weirdness with Japan, that is where I'm kind of putting my money right now. And I would tell people, don't expect to hear about this. Don't expect this to get announced before Labor Day, almost for sure. And then as we get on the other side of Labor Day, maybe.
It makes a lot of sense, Jeff, where they're kind of getting to a point where a lot of their stuff's getting released. Their biggest game, aside from Pokemon, is coming out, Splatoon 3, so it's time to talk about the future. Like you said, NSO subscriptions are coming up. So aside from things we expect, with the big Nintendo Directs, there's at least one big surprise, right? Something that's really cool. Is there anything you're really hoping for here, aside from just the next Mario game, which I think we would all like to see, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I would hope for. Can bump up Mike's audio. Yes, I could do that right now. Let me get there. We go.
Poor Jeff having to deal with my fluctuations of screaming and not
Oh,
screaming.
you are, but now you do look really low. That's actually weird. Okay, let me, let me turn myself down as well. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to surprises for a Nintendo Direct, there's always the ones I want. I want them to bring back an Excite series or all that other stuff. I think if I'm looking at other things they could do with Zelda, I would love to see them do something with the Link's Awakening engine and take the model that they did there and apply that to something else, or do a similar concept with one of the other older Zelda games and do another 2D remake, or do a whole new 2D Zelda game. It is probably hoping for too much that they announce that before we get Breath of the Wild 2. But I still would, I wouldn't mind it, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't mind it at all. That would be, I would love to have an indication that Breath of the Wild 2 is one pathway for them. And then the 2D Zelda is still happening as another pathway, and they're distinct enough that they feel like they can almost coexist side by side. Even as we're getting these older ports, ported once again to the Switch. So I would love to, or even a spinoff, sort of like Cadence of Hyrule. Something along those lines, partnering with an indie studio to take the Zelda, sort of style and music and all that stuff and apply that to something new that is a nice offshoot to hold us over while we are waiting maybe for the ports and then waiting for Breath of the Wild. That would be exciting. Mm-hmm. How about you?
To see F-Zero, just to see F-Zero, just to see something's happening there. But
I think it's time for F-Zero, actually. I think it's time.
I think it's going to be time, Jeff. I don't know if it's time quite yet.
Right. Yes, good point. Where I think it's going to be within the next year we're going to get one announced. That's just a guess. It just feels like the momentum and the love for F-Zero is building, and more people are going back and playing those games and recognizing how good they are and how much they hold up. And I think Nintendo's going to come around to being like, this is something that we can probably do something with in a way that we kind of didn't have faith in before. So I hope that happens.
Donnie gets mad at me whenever I bring up F-Zero. You just deal with it, Donnie. F-Zero rules. Nick just brought this up. I actually wanted to say this because we've been hearing rumors about this. Kid Icarus Uprising HD. That's something that could be announced here, huh?
Yes, I forgot about that. That is a really good point. That was the one that was being worked on by Bandai Namco. I can't... Force Mesh just telling Donnie to shut up. Fantastic. Yeah, God, yeah. And now I'm thinking about it. This should be a general direct. They have so much stuff that they could and should announce. There's a lot of stuff for them to finally confirm 100%. And people are talking about what is it? Not Xenoblade Chronicles. What is it? The other one, the Xeno X games.
Oh, Xenoblade X. I think it may be a little early for that.
Right. But they could say they're working on a port or something like that, but maybe they want to hold that until it's actually ready.
I mean, they still have to talk about DLC because we know there's a season pass for Chronicles 3 that's going to have like a DLC chapter. They could maybe talk about that, but even that might be like a year away,
All right,
honestly.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Thanks, chat.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
that's.
told you myself. I said it was X.
I think you should say Xenoblade X, and then you're right.
Oh, I left out the Chronicles.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't say Persona 4 Golden.
Taking away 500 points from you right now. People have been enjoying those Jeopardy games, by the way, people. So if you want to check that out, that's on the channel right now.
We're getting some good feedback on those. People like to see me win, I guess, Jeff.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I am hopeful that Nintendo is confident enough about this that they just announce it like a week ahead of time. They promise big things, and then I hope they really bring it. I guess sounds like it's going to be a Zelda heavy direct. Do we get the next thing from the Mario team here?
It could be like the one more thing because maybe you start talking about that. I mean, hey, they talked about Breath of the Wild 2 very early on, Jeff. So like they could now. Granted, maybe they learned their lesson there, but they always seem to talk about Zelda games really early out, and the Mario one's not that early out.
True.
So it's hard to say, and it depends so much on what it is. It's weird to say it. I like Odyssey so much that I kind of wish it was just an Odyssey 2.
Agreed.
But it's beginning to feel like if it was just an Odyssey 2, we probably should have like had that by now, or at least had that announced by now. So I don't know what that project is going to look like. And there is a part of me that also thinks that's just something that's going to be a part of the Switch 2 or whatever that is, and it gets announced with that.
I think you're right. That seems like the kind of like they're doing all this stuff now because they've already promised Breath of the Wild 2. I think they are very, very, very likely going to move Metroid Prime 4 to the next system. And so they don't want to be in another situation where they announce a game and maybe are wishy-washy about what it's going to come out for and then have to say, well, this is actually going to be on the next. You just wait at this point. It is weird because there's massive gaps now between these mainline 3D Zelda and Mario games. And someone tweeted today, the gap between 3D Zelda games has only gotten bigger every single time. And now we are officially at like the longest gap between 3D Zelda games, which is wild to think
weird.
about. Yeah.
Because we thought like, well, it's like just Breath of the Wild 2. So this will be like coming out faster.
Right. We're using assets and stuff. Like this should be no problem. It's a great idea. Yeah, do that so we can get one in like a year or two. Nope, did not work out that way. And
that's actually wild. That's going to be a longer gap between this and Breath of the Wild than Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword.
Yes, that is very strange. And so I think that tweet was like, and so if this trend continues, we'll get the Zelda after Breath of the Wild 2 in 2029, which is yeah. Man.
And it'll get delayed, so it'll come out in the 30s, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Like that's assuming the game comes out in spring, and I don't think like you think we get the name for the next Breath of the Wild Zelda?
If they have
do you think we get the
anything
date?
to say about Breath of the Wild, I think the name is almost more likely than a date, to be honest. They got to stop calling it Breath of the Wild. They didn't even call it Breath of the Wild 2. They call it a sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, yes, is in
Not
development.
even the sequel, right? They just call it a sequel. Am I making that up? I'm not sure.
Right, I think it's like I think they said a sequel to Breath of the Wild is now in development. Is kind of what the phrasing was. Well, it's a wild thing.
Yeah. Forrest Bish does ask a good question. Like, do we think the scope expanded for Breath of the Wild 2, and that's why it seems to be bigger? Or is it? Yeah,
yes,
I think so.
I think 100% they realized that they some stuff they left on the editing room floor was obviously where they started. I think as they went along, they're like, we could do even more here, and we should. We're the Zelda team. The last time we trusted our gut and gave ourselves time, we made Breath of the Wild one of the best games ever made. We should try to live up to that with a sequel to that game. And I think they just kind of scoped out feature creep and scope creep definitely happened. But also I think it was just like them wanting to live up to the legacy of that game. And that's a fair thing to want to live up to.
We've seen Nintendo do that before. Majora's Mask was originally like the Nintendo 64 DD or whatever that's called, like
Just drive in.
bonus stuff for Ocarina of Time. Mario Galaxy 2 was just DLC for Galaxy 1. Stuff this kind of thing happens quite a bit, where projects expand its scope. And hey, if something's going to expand its scope, it should be Breath of the Wild 2. All right, Jeff. If we get questions from community or super chats, that's great. We've got some super chats come in. You guys can send those. We will read them before the show is over. If you're watching live, a bunch of you are. Thank you for joining us. Please give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. It helps more people find the show, and that is just great. I love when people find the show. People are asking me about the shirt. Again, my brother got it at the mall. I just messaged him asking where he got it from at the mall. So
I
if
hate
can
this
get it-
because I'm the one who started wearing Hawaiian shirts. I should have this shirt. I gotta kill you and take it. I got
Fair.
something.
I mean,
the only thing
that's
I
what
can do
happens
here.
to my possessions is that they go to you
Yeah,
or
that's right.
whoever kills me. I guess.
Right, of course. Yeah, it's in the contract. Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, Jeff. A couple other news things here. The Splatoon 3 Splatfest World Premiere did end with Team Rock taking the victory. I got to play a bit of this, Jeff, and I'm really into Splatoon 3's. Like, it feels familiar. I like its slightly different vibe.
Mhm.
There's something very funny about seeing the custom like text or signs people make like on like the walls, like neon signs scrolling by like you're in Broadway, especially when it says things like "My dad left me at Target." Right? It's very funny.
Right, yes.
The
That good
game feels-
Miiverse energy. Absolutely.
I like the new weapons. I like that windshield wiper sword and the bow thing quite a bit. I think some people were complaining about the weird like 3-way battles you have at the end, and I didn't even get to do one of those.
I did
And
a
apparently-
couple. Yeah.
Apparently that influenced the final decision. What did you think about those?
I thought they were fine. I was on the leading team because, of course, I was saying, "Scissor me, daddy!"
Hey,
And
I
then-
was Team Scissor too, and now it
Yeah.
seems like Scissor got robbed because it didn't work right, or not work right, but it seems very unfavorable towards the winning team.
Right, because you're going to be in the middle, and then the two side teams are going to be able to attack you without having to attack each other, and so you're definitely at a disadvantage. But we were winning most of that round, and then something. I think someone either got disconnected or whatever, and then we lost at the end. But it was I don't know. It was still fun. I was still having a good time, and it turns out it's Splatoon. It ain't that serious. If I want to play
Splatoon 3,
competitive,
yeah.
I will go. There's other modes for a more competitive. This is just the fun little distraction mode that they do every once in a while. That's like, you know, it's not like if Scissors actually won, I would have got anything. So it's just like,
I would finally know happiness.
yes, exactly. This is what I need to finally be a happy person on this earth.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I mean, other than that, I'm just like, oh, Splatoon is back. I am really happy about that.
really
I think
excited.
having the the 3 characters there is great. I think Big Man was also Scissors, I think, so I felt very
yes,
good
he
about
was.
that.
He was our Scissor daddy.
Yes, he was the scissor ass daddy, 100%. Yeah, it's a good game. It's always been good. There are enough like minor changes that I'm like, I'm here for it. And even if it was just like DLC for Splatoon 2, I don't care. I'm there. I'm playing more Splatoon. I'm so ready for it.
I do just find the whole like city hub very charming in that game. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to. You can just go to a menu and teleport places. But I like that. It adds a lot of character. And also, you've explained this to me. I forget what it's called. The game like actually is looking pretty good for considering how
FSR, yeah.
old ass the Switch is. Like, yeah, it's like running pretty well. It looks good. I'm pretty pleased.
Yep, I think we got some benefits of Nintendo being willing to like try some extra technology stuff, and that would I think it enabled them to turn up the graphical features and keep the high frame rate with only a minor sort of smudginess to the resolution that is barely noticeable on like an OLED screen. On the OLED, it looks fantastic.
great.
What a good
The
looking
OLED.
game. Just so
Yeah.
colorful and vibrant and eye popping, and yeah, it's totally working for me.
I forget which level it was, but there was a song playing on one of the levels, and the song was just very good. It was a very good song. I'm excited, Jeff. I'm really excited for Splatoon 3. I can't wait for it to
Yeah, me
finally
too.
come out.
It launches the 9th. Is that what it is?
Is that right?
You know
I think
what?
so. Right. 'cause it
I
was
have the
Dreamcast
gamer
Day.
browser. Let's check right here. Let's see what it
Things
says.
always come out on the 9th.
Yeah, let me see here. September 9th is Splatoon 3 and NBA 2K23. Good luck, NBA
about that?
2K23. You're fucked.
Yeah, you're done, son.
You're done for.
Jeff, and with the new out with the old, Dragalia Lost is officially ending service on November 30th. This is Nintendo's like original IP mobile game, their most mobile gamey mobile game. It seemed like it did okay for a bit there.
Yeah, it
but,
probably made them some money,
not like Fire Emblem Heroes did, but
which is still going, obviously.
yeah. Did you ever play Dragalia Lost? Did you try like a second of it? Is it Dragalia? I don't know and I don't care. But did you ever
yeah, I was
play?
gonna say I don't know and I don't give a fuck. Like it's out of here. More like Dragalia get lost. Am I right?
Got him.
Yeah. I've never touched it. No, I didn't want. It's just no interest. If I was gonna play one of those, I'll play the Fire Emblem one, and
Yeah.
had all the gotcha and like the bathing suit special events and all that stuff for the horny
Yeah.
people. It's already there in the Fire Emblem. I think Fire Emblem came out after Dragalia Lost by some bit, but
Fire Emblem has recognizable, like, cozy. Oh, I know those people, waifus and husbandos. I
Right.
don't need to be introduced to, like, what am I, speed dating? I don't want to meet new people.
Exactly. It's this was inevitable. Nintendo has clearly lost its sort of lust for the whole mobile scene. They are doing the things now that just sort of like feel like they're on autopilot. Mario Kart, Fire Emblem, and you know
Right,
they
nothing
will,
new in a while.
Right, they will try a new thing probably eventually again, but it's not going to be some major initiative like this whole mobile thing started out as, where like we are going to release a new IP just for mobile, and that's probably not going to happen again anytime soon.
What's funny, Jeff, is that as Nintendo has been slowly retreating from mobile, guess who's making big moves into mobile right now is PlayStation.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Yeah. And we don't really know what that, like, they're not partnering with some well-established mobile studio. They bought like a newer mobile studio, right? And
Right. Savage
which-
Game Studio or something like
Savage.
that. Yeah.
so we'll see how that goes. It'd be funny if their stuff actually is just like Nintendo. They just take like God of War and make a gotcha game out
Right,
of it. Like that's all it is.
home PlayStation Hometopia, and it's
Well,
just
that'd be
it's
great.
just Metopia, but with PlayStation Home stuff instead. I would play it. I loved Metopia.
That'd be fantastic, actually. I would be into that. Last thing here, Jeff, real quick. We got to see a trailer today for the new Joe and Mac game, Caveman Ninja. It's coming to
Yeah.
November to a bunch of platforms, including Switch. Jeff, I was actually a big Joe and Mac fan as a kid. I had it on Super Nintendo. And
I've always had
loved
a good time when I play them. Joe and Mac, I think especially Joe and Mac 2, I think I enjoy.
Joe and Mac 2 was like slightly more open. It's not Metroidvania, but yeah, it's a bit more. I don't know what you would call it. Not search action, but it's got a map in it, right?
Right. And apparently this game was announced for the someone. Maybe this is not true, but someone said this game was originally announced for the Xbox 360.
I do know that they talked about this at some point. I remember that. So when this was brought up today with the new trailer, this didn't come out completely out of the blue.
Right.
But we got to see gameplay.
Hey, it looks
and
good.
It looks like a .emu game without .emu. Like maybe not quite as good as
Yeah,
like
not
the
as
Wonder
polished.
Boy shit.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty good.
Yes, and it's like, oh yeah, and it definitely still looks like Joe and Mac at the same time. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. This is very cool. It's a cool like retro IP to bring back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jeff. Why don't we do some of these super chats first before we get to the Discord questions? We got a bunch of them. Why don't we read these? Then we'll do Discord. We'll do our topic of the week. Then before we end up, we'll get to any Discord questions that we have missed in the intervening time. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let me get the super chats here and
I
bring
did
them up.
spring it on you, so
No, it's okay.
I don't
It's okay.
blame you. For
I
not
think
having
I'm
them
looking
loaded
at them
up.
right here. Okay, so let's start with Big Jimbo Ryan, who says, "Listen, I had to raise the price to fund Knack 3. You don't understand. It has to be a third-person sad dad simulator. If not, Jeff will get me." And then he spells it. He's talking about Jeff Keighley here, apparently.
Not you.
Yeah, Big Jimbo Ryan follows up with, "Also, I hope we're all excited for The Last of Us Part 1 at what I say is a generous MSRP. Can't wait to give you all Last of Us 2 remake." Thank you, Big Jimbo Ryan. You are a treasure to the industry. Let's see, Uriel Delgado, "Did you know that One Piece is real?" And then it's the winky face emoji. "Do you have any info on One Piece Odyssey?" They said 2022 originally, but it feels like it's going to slip to 2023. Honestly, no. I mean, people say One Piece and I tune out.
They had a video of like the intro for that playing on loop at the Summer Game Fest play days. I remember because it's like they show the video and it's like all these like anime freaks, and then like Nami or whatever is just a hot girl in a bikini, and she really stands out. It turns out. By the way, this shirt is from a store called Box Lunch. Like they literally had a store in my mall, so I don't know like how many of them there are, if they have it online. But if you want this Zelda shirt, I would look for Box Lunch.
All right, there we go. Free advertising for Box Lunch.
Well, it's a pretty good shirt.
It is a pretty good shirt. Mac Roberts, "Could the Zelda ports release very soon?" And then in parentheses, "within weeks, like what they did with Super Mario All-Stars 3. Yeah, Super 3D Mario All-Stars.
I guess we didn't say like that. Like, when do we think they're going to actually come out after they get announced? I'm not so sure about that. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I guess I personally think Breath of the Wild 2 is still coming out even later than spring. And so I think early next year, probably. I hope I'm wrong. That's just a guess. I hope I'm wrong. And then let's see, Toadpox Shakur. Mike, in that tropical button down is giving me a category 5, if you know what I'm saying. And then the smirky face.
I used to be shy about the chest hair, Jeff. Now I'm just letting it flow. That's everybody else's problem now. I'm tired of holding
Exactly.
it back.
Like, you can't see it when you're just looking forward and projecting out to the world. That's the world's problem to deal with now.
That's right.
And then AMW 2003 says, where is Mario Sunshine 2? Asking the real tough questions here, Mike.
That's one that they haven't made. That's one they don't have on the back burner. Sorry.
When does summer end? In like 22-ish days? 20-ish days?
It's later in September than everybody thinks. That's for sure.
Okay. So if I wanted to play Super Mario Sunshine for summer vibes, I've got about 3 weeks.
You don't have much left. But even still, I don't know. Like, I agree with you, by the way, that summer doesn't end until like it actually ends.
Yeah.
But it is harder for me to feel summer vibes in September.
Sure. I mean, Labor Day is like when it kind of unofficially ends. People are like, we're going back to school and I'm going to order a pumpkin spice latte. Go fuck yourself.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
listen, I get it. I like pumpkin too. That does it for the super chats so far. If anybody else has any questions and you need them answered, we will get to any more super chats before the end of the show.
But we do have a bunch more questions from the Discord community. So why don't we read these? First from Dr. Turbo Sus says, hey, Super Scissor Brothers. That's great. I think we can all agree that the eShop sucks. What are some of your realistic and unrealistic hopes for the Switch 2's eShop to improve the experience? I actually just hate the lag in the eShop, Jeff.
Yeah.
Because we get codes. It's like I want to scroll down to and put the code, and there's always this horrible lag there, and it feels terrible.
Yeah, it's just the page loading, right? It just feels like a slow loading web page, and it's like, come on, I got a fast connection. It just comes down to the Switch CPU not being able to like draw it in fast enough, which is very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Beef Hammer says, happy Tuesday. Jeff wishes he was podcasting with AJ Grubb, and Mike wishes he was playing Final Fantasy 14 with AJ Minotti. Since Amazon isn't bidding on EA, have you boys submitted your official bid to acquire EA to be part of GameS LLC? Jeff is already announcing their games in delays early, so it's time to just cut out the middleman. Yeah, Jeff, how much of the petty cash do we have left? Can we get an EA?
We have tens of dollars left. Yeah, we could probably make some moves here.
There we go.
I think maybe more of a merger, as long as I get to be the one calling the shots. Absolutely.
Screaming Turbo Man, it says, since you Nintendogs love Fortnite so much, it's sad that that's actually true now. What Nintendo character do you want to see in Fortnite? Or more or less, which Nintendo character would do the best you can't see me taunt? I mean, when I think about wrestling taunts, I think about Waluigi, who actually did do suckets in a Nintendo game.
Crotch chops, 100%.
Yeah, and he can, like, all Fortnite characters are, like, the same height, right? It's important-ish. So, Waluigi, you can make work with that. A lot of the other ones, like Wario, not so much. So, I guess I'll go with Waluigi.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, like, you put in Waluigi, and then you just put in Daisy, Rosalina, and Peach. And that's like, because they're all taller too, and that you could just have all the girls and Waluigi, and you enable Waluigi to wear all the dresses and stuff that like Daisy's wearing, and that'd be very cool.
Yeah. Eat the Hype / Donnie set this one in. I'll read this one. Question for the show: if Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are dated for the spring, does that mean that Breath of the Wild is delayed until the next hardware is ready? 2024.
Oh, I don't think so.
2024 would surprise me. I think fall 2023 could happen.
At the latest.
I always forget that it, like, apparently it is currently pegged for spring, like, officially. Is that true? Because I somehow never actually believed that, but I think that's the case.
I think it is, and I also think I know what you mean, where it's like, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah. I think 2024 seems late for me. I don't think they're thinking about Breath of the Wild 2 as a launch experience for the next Switch. I think that's where maybe Mario is going to come into, but this is speculating on our part. Good and Creamy. That's a new one. Have either of you looked into putting Hall Effect analog sticks, the one with the electromagnetic sensors, in your Steam Decks? I saw that back in July. The company that makes them announced that they were working on making a version for the Joy-Cons on the Switch. I have replaced the sticks of my original Joy-Cons 3 times now, and sticks that supposedly eliminate drift and dead zone issues have huge appeal for me. Jeff, not so much my thing. I haven't even heard about this. Do you know anything about the Hall Effect?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about him, but I'm like curious now. I think if my Steam Deck ever begins to have stick drift, yes, I will probably go and find expensive analog mechanism sticks like that use a completely different sensor, like an electromagnetic sensor, and just avoid the problem ever happening again. That would be very cool.
Jedi Moss 4 says, assuming Metroid Prime Remaster gets announced in this Nintendo Direct, do we get any substantive update on Metroid Prime 4? It's been about 4 years since development restarted.
Yeah.
What do you think? They finally revealed the game. I mean, gosh, it's when he puts it like that, Jeff, it's like, yeah, I guess maybe it should be time to hear something. And yet I still don't believe we're going to see anything about Metroid Prime 4.
I think that if they are going to talk about Metroid Prime Remaster, which they are very likely to do, then they kind of can't not talk about Metroid Prime 4. I suppose that could just take the form of, and we will talk about this more very soon, and we'll let you know when someday. But I think, it's been a long time. You probably have something to show.
They must have something, right? That's what I was just thinking. I guess if they want to show something, there must be something to show at this point.
Right. And so I would think just show something. Like, even if it's just mostly, 3D concept art or whatever, or cinematic that you kind of like just built on top of whatever. Yeah. Just show something.
Is it getting awkward because we are getting to the point where we might be learning about games that are going to be Switch 2 games? We even talked about Sparks of Hope, which people first thought looked like a Switch 2 game but isn't. But like, are we actually going to have that coming up now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Mike, is this like the last big blowout that is just for this Switch? Is that why this Direct feels like it's like actually kind of under some pressure here?
Maybe that's why it feels like it could be. There's so many things that could happen at this one, right?
Right, exactly. It's like, they kind of held back during E3, and then now maybe they're looking at it and like, oh, well, we got a timeline. I mean, they're always going to do something in September. They always do. They're keeping that trend going or whatever. But, now that we're here, it's very easy to think that, oh, we have a clear timeline for when we are going to do the next thing. And when we start announcing new things, those things are definitely going to be on both systems. So why don't we just like clear our calendar right here once and for all, get all these games at least out, or at least have dates pegged for them, and then we can start planning for the future a little bit better. Yeah, that seems possible.
Jump Matt says, just got my Steam Deck and love it, but why did they choose to lose large bezels and a non-OLED screen? Surprised it's inferior in those two ways to the Switch OLED.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they went with the screen that they could get that was like the best quality screen that was still affordable and like would fit in that chassis or whatever. Like there was probably a lot of different, factors that weighed in that was like, okay, it's not exactly as big as it could be. The bezels are a little bit bigger than we want. The cost is a little bit higher. The quality's great, but it's not an OLED. I think that like they kind of checked as many of the boxes as they could. And that screen is very good for not being an OLED. It is very good.
One Up versus CPU says, Meltzer said FTR isn't in the launch version of AEW Fight Forever, and they'll come later as DLC. Abaddon is in it, though. What is going on here? Are they holding popular people back to sell as DLC? So, when I heard about this, it piqued my ears, because when I was at a show like 6 months ago, they had us recording chants for the game, and we were recording chants for FTR. Apparently what happened is that their motion capture data got corrupted. So that's why they're not going to be in the base game. They're going to come. Yeah, but they will come as DLC. About Abaddon being in it, there's always this funkiness with wrestling games where it's like when they set the roster, it's like people who are being pushed at that time show up, and then by the time the game comes out, those people are not on TV very much.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that very brief period there where Abaddon was getting pushed. I can never know how to say that name, Jeff. There's actually a Shin Megami Tensei game it has a ridiculous name. It's like one of the longest video game names ever. It's like Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, King Harabusha versus King Abaddon or something. Abaddon or something like that.
P sound. Don't forget the P sound.
Yeah, Lies of P. But yeah, I think that's all. I mean, you do obviously want DLC to have people want to buy in it, but I think the plan was for FTR to be in the base game, and then a technical snafu pushed them to DLC. So that's what happened there. It's too bad. I love FTR. Jeff, we got to see Dax Harwood in a great match when we were there against Jay Lethal, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a very good match. I had a really good time with that one. I'm like, oh, once this game comes out, I'm hoping I get a chance to play as a lot of these characters. That game looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it does. I know. It's it's not weird, but there are some people like, whoa, this doesn't like look as like graphically as good as the WWE games, and I'm like, yeah, no shit. Of course not, but I'm still looking forward to it. And they're trying to recapture a bit of that No Mercy era thing. We'll see how it goes.
Kevin in chat says it's a shame that Franklin Delano Roosevelt is not in the game.
Yeah, it probably. She said that. I was like, that's funny. It probably does sound like I'm saying FDR every single time. All those FDR chants. Yeah, New Deal rocks, New Deal rocks. There we go. One up versus CP. No, that's the one I just read. Benji Glaskey says, "Hey, Stinky Dicks! Wow, holy shit!
I mean,
can you explain the biology of why when Yoshi consumes living entities, he lays an egg? I could explain it, but after being called a stinky dick, I don't feel like explaining it."
The only way that I ever feel like explaining anything is when someone calls me a stinky dick. I'm going to assume it's some sort of like cosmological, like similar to what happens when Kirby swallows something, right?
Yes, black holes are involved.
Yes, black holes are involved. Like, yes, the universe coming to a single point, and that point is existing within Yoshi's stomach, and it you come out the other side, and the other side is Yoshi's butthole, where you are encased in an egg. Just as you come out, like it's just a magical like teleportation thing around you. So yeah, it's that simple. Fucking read a book.
Doc7 says, "What does Bayonetta need to do to be successful in the eyes of Nintendo? The game has had a very prolonged and seemingly troubled development. I question whether it will score as highly as Bayonetta 2 did. Even with the high praise Bayonetta 2 got, it sold poorly. Neither the Switch or Wii U versions reached 400K. With Platinum Games shifting focus to self-publishing, will either party see value in continuing a difficult-to-develop and financially poor-performing franchise together? If not, might Nintendo try to find another hack-and-slash franchise to fill the same niche?" What the hell are you doing? You're scissoring the screen.
Scissoring Christian, sorry, yeah. Who are you?
Which they seemingly see value in filling. Perhaps a relationship with Koei Tecmo might prompt Nintendo to revive Ninja Gaiden. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know, Jeff. Somebody released a list of like games that have sold 1 million copies on the Switch. At least the first Bayonetta was on there, so there was something there. Maybe maybe that's too high. I was about to say, but it's a Switch effect. 2 million might be the barrier here. I don't know. Maybe it's a lot. Maybe 1 million is the mark of success for Bayonetta 3. What do you think?
Yeah, 2 million seems fair.
What if Astral Chain, which is like a brand new property?
Yeah, that was
that's
like
not like
that was like 1.92 million, right? So this is probably going to sell maybe 3 million. This could do 3 million.
Two. Yeah, if Astral Chain, which got like good but not great reviews and is like a new IP, if it sold that much, Bayonetta 3 should be able to.
I agree, and I think Nintendo's going to be kind of just happy with it if it gets good reviews. Honestly.
Yeah. It's not like, it's not a disaster for them if they get a miss every now and then, even a mild miss. And this probably won't be a big miss. It's just not going to be this giant, huge hit, and they don't necessarily need it to. They needed it to come out, mostly so that they could announce it at some point and get people excited about them bringing back Bayonetta. And then when you do that to actually release the game, and if it comes out and does well enough, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Gruntilda's ass says, "Sup, dogs. What is your Mount Rushmore of Nintendo IPs? But for fun, you cannot pick Mario or Zelda." Oh, also real quick, are you guys going to try Pac-Man World Repack? I got a code for that and haven't played it yet.
I'll download it. I'll give it a shot. All right.
As a kid, I always thought that Metroid was like a part of like a third pillar with Mario and Zelda. It shocked me later to find out they never sell nearly as well, but I'll still put Metroid up there.
Okay, well, I mean, first of all, her name is Samus. So
okay, I'm talking about franchises.
I know he
right?
he said IP. You're right. I'm sorry. Gruntilda's ass said IP. You're right.
Yeah, Gruntilda's ass was very specific here, Jeff.
Okay, so well, I mean, it's okay. We can't say Mario or Zelda, but we could say Mario Kart, right? Because Mario Kart probably goes up there no matter what.
It doesn't. Does Mario? I feel like you're splitting hairs here. I don't think that's part of Mario.
You think that's part of Mario? So we couldn't say
part of Mario.
Okay, because it would. You're right. Because if we did that, it would be Mario Kart. It would be Super Smash Brothers.
Right.
And then a couple others. But okay, then. I think in that case, Metroid does go up there.
Metroid goes up there because prestige matters also, but Pokemon goes up there because it's fucking Pokemon.
Yes, obviously, yes.
I think Kirby gets to go up there. And like
Yeah.
maybe is Donkey Kong separate enough from Mario?
At this
that
point,
Donkey
yeah,
Kong could go
probably.
there?
But that is probably the Mount Rushmore right there. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's
Yeah. If we're not including Mario and Zelda, who should absolutely be on there?
yeah, that's probably right.
Casual says, "Dear Pachinko pals, how do you feel when you are called by your surname instead of your first name? Every time Jeff is called Grubb on the Bombcast, I can't help but think, well, that was needlessly unfriendly. I realize this is probably me overthinking things. All the best." I mean, I started saying I would never call you Grubb. I do it a bit more now, especially when I'm talking to you in Bombcast chat or
Right.
stuff, just because there's other Jeffs. I've been called Minotti a lot my whole life because Mike is a very common first name. So it happens quite a lot for me. So I'm kind of used. I used to not like it, Jeff. I used to hate it. I got completely over it.
In my school, it was if you were very close friends, you would only use the last name. And then if you were not close friends, they would use your first name. I think I learned later in most other places, it's the exact opposite. Like you get called by your last name by like, you know, most teachers and most other like students or whatever. But no, so for me, it's always been like, this is kind of someone would never call me Grubb unless they, you know, knew me and knew me well. So it doesn't bother me at all.
I had a lot of people who kind of knew me who call me Minotti because I think my last name's fun to say on top of the other thing. So it used to be somewhat grating to me, but now it's completely fine. I don't really care.
Yep.
Velocity Prime 1 says, "Hello to the dogs. During last September's Nintendo Direct, Jeff and Mike nearly died after watching the cast for the Mario movie be revealed." Was that last September that happened?
I guess so. Yeah, that sounds right. Holy shit.
Holy man, we even talked about the possibility of the trailer, but I can't even talk about that right now, Jeff. So he continues. My question is as follows: what announcement would cause you to conceivably choke on your spit and pass out from laughter again? Oh my god. What would be like something that's not surprising and funny, but not necessarily something that we would like or be happy about?
I mean, sticking with the theme, like if they announced the Donkey Kong, or I guess like a couple of the other like IP, so like the Zelda movie or show or whatever, and it had like a wild cast. But I honestly can't think of anything to me more wild than Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it would have to actually just be the trailer, and we would have to it had to open up with Mario just sounding exactly like Chris Pratt after that all that build up.
Right,
like,
and
no
in the trailer, it's got a lot of those that Pauly Shore Pinocchio movie vibes. Like if it was that,
Mamma Mia, a talking puppet.
If it honestly, they should just do that scene in the Mario movie. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult to imagine anything funnier than that.
Haas says, "Hey yo dogs, I'm currently on a mission to complete all mainline Mario games from Super Mario Brothers up to Sunshine, as I've never played them. Holy shit, Super Mario Brothers is so damn good. Almost at the point I would rather have had this than Sonic 1 as a kid. Are there any childhood games you wished you could swap out? Mega Man is another I could add to this. I wish I got into Castlevania as a kid, Jeff. I actually kind of got into that when I was a teenager. I was like, man, these games are all very good. Why didn't I care about these back when I was younger? I don't know what I would swap it out for necessarily. Like I probably played too much Claymates on the Super Nintendo. So I guess I wish I was playing Super Castlevania 4 instead of fucking Claymates." Fluffy Cloud Gamer says, "What are the chances we see a remaster or just a new Hamtaro game? I love the new Game Boy Color / Game Boy Advance games, but understand Nintendo may not own the rights to the series to produce them anymore, and also probably don't care since the series was never really popular. I may have just answered my own question, but curious what you guys may think." And did you know Nintendo made like first party Hamtaro games for the Game Boy?
Yeah,
systems?
right. It wasn't like Game Freak. Was it? It was. I mean, like Nintendo published them.
Was it HAL? I think it might have been HAL.
HAL. Yes, that's exactly what I think it is. Yes, and they were like really well reviewed. I remember hearing about this and then being like, "Oh, but is this like going to be the next Pokemon or whatever?" And then the games came out, and I think like EGM or whatever gave it a pretty decent review. And I'm like, I should try that out. And I never, ever played it. I mean, honestly, it's just they would have to do so much work to build up that IP here that, yeah.
They could show up in like NSO collections, but they're not going to do anything substantial there. They're not going to invest in an IP that they don't really own, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to imagine if they really wanted it, they could just fucking buy the Hamtaro IP now, maybe,
Right.
but who knows?
Yeah, Nintendo not going to do that.
No. Uncharted Wolf says, "Hey Jeff, watched one anime and is considered a weeb now. Grubb and Mike.
That's right.
Maybe I should buy another GameCube game. Not, ooh, that's a good idea." Have you ever been excited for a game and you completely forgot it came out already? One of my most anticipated games this year was Overlord Escape from Nazarick, a Metroidvania based on my favorite anime, but due to a lack of marketing, I just found out it already came out 2 months ago. God, I swear that this happened with something this year, Jeff. And now I can't remember for the life of me what it was, but it was something like, I want to play that when it comes out, and then people are like, it's out. I was like, oh, well, I guess I should play that. Can't.
That definitely happens to me. I'm struggling to think of any examples, but I have a terrible memory. That's well documented. So this 100% happens to me. I think maybe not frequently, but probably like once a year, where I'm like, oh, I was looking forward to that, and then it goes on in my head, and other things happen at the same time, and so I have to wrap back around to it. Yeah.
I'm told I said Nazarick perfectly, and I want you to know it was a complete accident. I probably said it wrong this time, but thank you. Nintendo Bro says, "Hey, hello, Jeff. It has the art, Grubb, and Mike. It makes the sounds, Minotti. How long do you think the Metroid Prime Remaster and Twilight Princess / Wind Waker HD ports will have actually been ready for by the time they release?" I mean, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker could have been done a very long time ago, Jeff. That should not have been a very hard job.
Right. It's the kind of thing where, like, 90, I'm not going to put numbers to it, but a lot of the work was probably done immediately. And now it was just like, okay, well, let's do some QA stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's not on 2 screens anymore, I guess. Like,
right.
just that.
Right. So we'll have our QA department kind of get around to it when they can. And listen, it's no rush. We're going to be hanging on to it anyhow. So yeah, I think the likely thing is that we will get if we ever hear the story, it's most of these games have been ready for nearing a year. It seems like maybe Metroid Prime is like one of those ones like Retro, was putting more work into it over the months or whatever. But many of these games have been ready for a long time.
Bench JC says, "Good day, Mr. Grubb and Mr. Minotti. Nintendo has decided to make a new 2D Mario. As Nintendo inmates, they decide to steal new ideas from you all as payment for your catch shine spoiling crimes. They ask for you to design a new themed world, power-up, and original boss for that world. Give Miyamoto your ideas so he can stay relevant." So a new themed world, a power-up, and an original boss for that world. Gosh, so what would be the theme of a world? I should just say lava, just to really fuck with people. He should be at a munitions factory, and his power up should be a fucking gun, and the boss should be a Nazi.
Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so the themed world should be Eastern Europe. The power up should be
a fucking gun.
Should also be a fucking gun, and the original boss for that world should be like the bad guys from Taken, those sex traffickers. So, yes, there you go. Which are the modern Nazi equivalent, if you're asking me.
Kirby got a gun.
Oh man, I love that Aerosmith song.
Kirby's got a gun. All right, thank you, Veg. Gerber says, off topic, but ages ago, back when a PlayStation 5 cost €500, Mike said he recently finished some book about astronauts in the Apollo mission. Can you remember the name of that book? Otherwise, any book recommendations in general? The almighty algorithm just recommended some Jordan Peterson, so clearly I need to course correct. Yes, that book is called Rocket Man. It's about the Apollo 8 mission. It's fantastic. Rocket Man, I remember it clear. It might be my favorite book, Jeff. At least certainly nonfiction. I liked it a lot. So if you have any interest in NASA stuff, check out Rocket Man.
If you are okay with reading stuff about the pandemic, Michael Lewis's The Premonition is fantastic. It's about very smart people who had this thing solved very early on, and then it just took some time to get other people to hear them. And if not, then The Fifth Risk. Basically anything from Michael Lewis. If you haven't read any Michael Lewis, read some Michael Lewis.
Jeff, you can't name this podcast Kirby's Got a Gun. People made that joke forever ago. The podcast should still just be called A Nintendo Direct is Coming in September.
Okay, fair enough.
And then Mr. Boris says, "What's up, Nintendogs, and a belated happy 65th birthday to Mr. Jeff Grubb." Yeah, happy birthday, Jeff. You don't look a day over 40. I want to know what both of you think is the best OST for a game on the NES. Oh, that's easily Mega Man 3 for me. Mega Man 2, also very good. They're very close in that regard. But there's probably a bunch of Mega Man games I would pick almost over anything else, except like Castlevania games come pretty close, Jeff. Those two are pretty far. They kind of take it for me. What's your favorite NES soundtrack?
I think the best OST for a game on the NES is probably Castlevania. Castlevania 2 is also very good. They're very close in that regard. But there's probably a bunch of Mega Man games I would pick almost over anything else, except like Castlevania games come pretty close, Jeff. Those two are pretty far. They kind of take it for me. What's your favorite NES soundtrack? I mean, it honestly, probably also is Mega Man, because that stuff is like anything
So
from
good.
it really is just absolutely rocking, just
Fantastic.
as is, like, to this day, just perfect music. But I also like Contra, and kind of a lot of different Konami stuff. The Castlevania music is good. Capcom and Konami were just in their element on the NES.
They were doing insane stuff. Even like Nintendo has good songs there, some iconic things in terms of composition. I don't think any of like their overall soundtracks are as good as the stuff Capcom and Konami is doing. Like even like Zelda 1 is this incredible soundtrack, but it's like 3 or 4 songs really.
Right.
And
I mean,
they're
Koji
kinda
Kondo,
simple.
Legend, all that stuff is like maybe some of the most ideal 8-bit music because it just was so repeatable and
And the
could play
song
on loop forever.
scaled really well
Yes.
throughout time, which is
Mhm.
really impressive. But like Mega Man 3 has like 15 songs in it that are all incredible.
Yes.
It's insane. Next one here is from Breadfish. Hello, Jeff and Mike. As two proud Ohioans, where do you stand on the national news making controversy of the Boosie Bros bratwurst queen being abruptly dethroned? What the fuck? Do you think Abigail Brockwell was rightfully relieved of her duties as queen for attending other bratwurst festivals around Ohio after the Bratwurst Festival board told her not to? Or do you think this is a blatant overreach of the board's power against their sovereign bratwurst leader? She has lawyered up. The nation needs to know where you two stand. Sincerely, someone who will probably never visit Ohio. Yeah, Jeff, this is an atrocity, and I'm furious.
I am on her side. This Bucyrus Bratwurst, the board of directors, can go to hell. This is America. And if you want to eat one brat and then go to another store and eat a different brat, even if you're the queen of said first brat, you should be able to. USA, USA, USA. I'm
Beautifully said, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just this guy, says, "What's up, you no good, dirty, rotten sons of mothers? I've been staring into space and not doing work I should have been doing, trying to think of a good question. Instead, I'll just ask this. Did either of you play the Punisher game for NES? I never heard anyone talk about it. It might just be a nostalgia time and place thing, but it's maybe my favorite Marvel game. I have not played the Punisher game for the NES, Jeff."
We definitely played it and we rented it and played it because we rented and played all of those Marvel games as kids. It's not one that like super sticks out, but I definitely remember some of it being like okay for like one of those games. My favorite was always Captain America and the Avengers. That from Data East. That was a good game.
It's weird that Vision is in that game way
Yes.
before he was like really like he wasn't in Marvel stuff very much until he showed up in Avengers 2, I feel like.
Mhm.
But it was like Vision, Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Captain America, I think. Maybe
That's right.
not even Captain America. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, it was Captain America and the Avengers, so it was like Captain
right, of
America
course.
and then those three guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I've like almost I haven't played. I have a friend Jeff who really likes the Punisher. He's a Punisher super fan. He has like he's a big collection of it. He even wrote in one time. He showed me the issue of Punisher where his question is in the mailbag.
Oh,
It was fun
fun.
stuff. Yeah. Okay, next one here is from Lossian. It says, "Hey Jeff, Human Clown, Grubb, and Mike Accoutrements." I'm glad you liked that, Jeff. Hope your weekend went well. No question this week. Thanks for the great videos. Thank you, Lossian. Hope you're having
Thank
a good
you.
week. Tyler James Bay says, "Good evening, Daddy Ass and Daddy Magic." Who do you think is Daddy Ass and who's Daddy Magic?
I'm Daddy Ass. You're Daddy Magic.
I was thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're maybe the only Nintendo podcasters I listen to that can be really critical of Nintendo. So I need you two to finally answer this question for me. Is Japan's Super Mario Bros. 2 actually a good game, or is it a
No.
quarter grubbing arcade game that people love because Mario's in the title? Thanks for all you guys do. I think it's a good game still. I think
it's
that-
fun in its way, but
I
it's
think the US version
aggressive.
of Mario Bros. 2 is incredibly noticeably better.
Yes, unquestionably a better game. Super Mario Brothers 2 was kind of, it was definitely kind of a mistake. For like in thinking, they definitely were like, we need to rush something out because Super Mario Brothers 1 was a success, and they course corrected immediately, and credit to them for doing so. But Super Mario Brothers 2, the Japan version, is a very fun troll. It is a very interesting, like it's like one of the first Dark Souls games. It is mean and you have to
You
lose
just said
to
it's the
figure out how to
Dark
play
Souls
it.
of Mario games. Oh
Yes,
no.
absolutely, 100%. And I appreciate it for that, but it's not great game design. It was never great game design.
From Major Faison. Hi guys, I just want to say I've been having a not so good day, but you men just turned around. Thank you. Thank you, Faison. Hope your day turns around. We all have our bad days. You
Absolutely.
kind of have to just remember that sometimes things are going away, or sometimes our stupid chemical brains are just giving us the wrong chemicals. You
Yep.
gotta have to kind of stick through things. Things they don't get better right away all the times, but they usually get better. Shoji Koto says, "Hello there, Nintendo Bros. Just Nintendo Bros. There was no dough, excuse me. If Nintendo made a new Mario sports game franchise, what is a less common sport you would like to see? I think what's
High-lie.
I was way off. Would be interesting, fitting game for Mario, or maybe surfing so we could get more Mario nipples. Hope you guys have a good rest of the week. Man, surfing would be good. Is surfing an Olympic sport? Has it showed up in any of the?
Yes, I think it
summer
is now.
games?
I think it just
Yeah.
became an Olympic sport, if not
Just
like
became.
either this last one or the one before that. I know that skateboarding was like just announced or just came out with the
Surfing-
last one.
Surfing is interesting. It's something that like has like that genre has gotten worse since we moved on from the
Mhm.
8-bit days. And be clear, like it's not like the 8-bit games were great, but everybody remembers the California summer game, whatever that was called, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
the one with the monkey in it. That was actually a different one.
Yeah, TNC Surf.
That's it. That's the one I remember. TNC Surf with the monkey.
It's a great game.
It was a great game, but like there was games with surfing involved, and then they tried to make like something Kelly Pro Surfer, and it was like
Yeah, Kelly
branded like a
Slater's
thing.
Pro Surfer or
Kelly
whatever.
Slater,
yeah.
and it just didn't really work. I wanted it to work. It just
No.
didn't really work, and there hasn't been a whole lot of surfing since then.
Nope.
Jeff, what is this name I horribly butchered? What
So
kind of a sport is that?
High-lie, JAI space ALAI. It is a weird Florida sport. If like you turn the state of
Oh.
Florida into a sport, like imagine that. And you guys will probably begin to recognize that as I explain it. You have like a scooper, and there's another team over there with a scooper. Maybe they stand beside you, and you have the ball that goes in the scooper, and you like fling it at the wall, and it bounces back, and the other team needs to catch it in
Oh
their scooper.
yeah,
It is a sport that they tried to make a bigger deal.
it's like racquetball meets lacrosse.
Exactly, and it was like they had a big marketing push for it. There was an arc in Mad Men about this, and I was kind of like aware of Highlight before that, but like that's where like it had this recent resurgence because of that. I guess that was like 10 years ago now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of sports that aren't just already in the Olympics, so have probably already been in an Olympic game, which is why surfing works. Is I
Right.
don't know if it has been, but like I don't know. There should be like Mario bar games. He should be playing fucking quarters and flip cup and
Yeah,
stuff like
that's
that.
a good angle. I think like back alley like gambling games and stuff like that. Chess, like games that like are on ESPN
Oh, man.
3. So it's like do these even qualify as a sport like poker and stuff like that?
I would like Mario Chess, like that old CD Star Wars chess game we used to have with like the really graphic kill animations that they played. It was all like cartoons. That'd be good.
Yeah, I like that.
Dodgeball's a good pick there. That would make sense. I mean, we've had very good dodgeball video games, obviously, so dodgeball makes a lot of sense. Nick Turbo. The pro wrestling one would actually be my super ideal, especially if it was made by Next Level Games, but I don't know.
What if it's just Greco-Roman wrestling and it's just
I take it.
Mario and Wario and Waluigi all greased up or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I would prefer if it was like pro wrestling with all
Sure.
the entrances and the crotch chops and all.
Sure,
that stuff.
understood.
Canooble says, "Hello, Mike and Jeff. Will Nintendo celebrate the 10th anniversary of the year of Luigi in 2023? Our favorite green wiener needs more attention. Thanks for the show as always." I don't think so, Jeff. I mean, the year of Luigi happened, I think, partly as a thing of coincidence.
Yes,
they noticed they had all these Luigi
100%.
games happening.
They had a lot of Luigi stuff happening, and like someone in the marketing team had a brilliant like, it's the year of Luigi, and everyone's like, no, and then eventually they like won him over.
It's like, it's gonna be great, everybody.
Yeah.
Look at this graph. Shit.
Check out the Luigi graph. Yeah, absolutely.
Rider Flow says, "Hi, Mike, Sonny Minotti, and Jeff Grubb. Hope you're doing well. A moderator on a Chinese forum known for leaking the Switch Lite's backplate and accurately leaking the announcement of the Splatoon OLED speculated back in July that the new Switch could be announced in September. Also, when everyone was freaking out that the Switch Pro/2 was going to be announced in July, Takashi Machizuki tweeted too soon, 2 months, ? Which was curious. Now the Chinese moderator recently posted 9/25 without elaborating any further. Do you have any knowledge of something happening around that date? Time zones may be tricky. I guess that's one thing we haven't talked about, Jeff. Are they going to announce new hardware?
Not at this, not at this next direct. But maybe at a separate thing later in the month, maybe.
In a tweet.
Yeah, in a tweet. Yeah, they might start teasing something. I don't know. It is possible. It continues to be this weird thing of it's hard to nail down. There are a lot of divergent reports out there, or every time we do get a report that seems solid and says it's going to happen, it ends up going by and nothing happens. And it almost feels like not because nothing was ever going to happen, Nintendo just like pulled a ripcord on it. Maybe something happened. Maybe something begins to happen later in September. I don't know. I have no idea.
Turbo Sean says the Nintendo Direct is so last week. When is the next Direct coming?
Thanks a lot, Turbo Sean. I hate you so much.
February, March? What the hell? I don't know.
Probably, yeah. Maybe like springtime. Sure, why not? Shut up, Turbo Sean. Go away. I hate this. We don't even, we haven't even gotten credit for this one yet, and we're already going.
No one will believe us still about this one. And when it happens, like, whoa, I can't believe it happened. We'll see. Jeff, that's it for the questions. We got a topic here. We're gonna talk about sports games on Nintendo platforms. We have more super chats. We have to talk about what we've been playing. How about we take a little break before all that, and then we can jump into it.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
And I will be right back.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Everybody remind me to unpause the recording.
No.
Shit.
How about
you? Gotta help me. I got a dumb brain.
I already told you the other night. No, we don't have to help you, Shaq shit.
I don't like when the YouTube algorithm tries to like.
Your box to play Fortnite today. You can take me to Moisty Meyer, but not Lulay. I really.
Is there a singing like option on there?
With you.
I don't know.
We can be pro Fortnite gamers.
I don't know. I just. Who knows how they did it? This is from the tech, but I stole it from a friend that's on that Discord. I'm not even in that Discord. This is black market. So
this the YouTube algorithm right now is like, do you want a lady with cleavage playing a video game? Do you want do you want a lady or a gymnast whose butt cheeks are hanging out doing a pole vault at a like sponsored phone event from 2019 for like Huawei, like a Huawei P30? Like it's like we could do awesome vertical video, so let's have a lady do the pole vault with their butt cheeks hanging out.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they know how they sell their product.
And like, do you want updates on like Zelda rumors? Also, that video has 2.4 million views. And like, do you want to like talk about the Red Wings? Which and then RGT is live taking all your viewers. Do you want to watch that? I'm gonna go fuck yourself, RGT. How dare you? How dare you? This is our time.
Don't they know?
That's disgusting. Where is it? Says the Uncharted Wolf. Yeah.
Where's the Tifa pumping video? Is that on the algorithm for you now?
That is right now. It is not coming up. The algorithm understood I got in a lot of trouble last time that happened. So. Man.
You need to get another YouTube account, because this account where you stream, it has all your likes and shit. We see what you're watching. Okay.
I'm surprised how good YouTube is about that stuff. Actually, like if I am going through the TV and it's my same YouTube account, but it's like it knows that this is where the kids are watching a lot of videos, so it just gives me all the horseshit kid stuff, like just right up front. It fully understands. Or if I'm on the tablet, same thing. But if I go to my desktop, it's all like, oh, here's that Cruise and Blast song you want to play over and over again, you dumb bastard. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Beef Hammer, I do still think November for Metroid Prime HD. Yes, I do.
I'm back.
He's back, everybody. All right. Mike, I'm going to count.
A pirate, suck my dick. Thank you.
I'm going to count us in, and I'm going to unpause, and then it's back to you, okay?
Yes.
5,
Don't fuck it up.
4, 3.
And we are back. Jeff, we are talking about our favorite sports games released on a Nintendo system. Last week we were talking about racing games. I thought this would be a fun continuation of that. Although this time, just because I didn't want all the answers to be, the usual suspects, it's not just made by Nintendo. A sports game released on a Nintendo platform. So I guess I'm kind of curious here, because I know some of your favorites. What would it be in this case for you?
Yeah, I like. I've really liked some of the Madden games, like going way back. I've definitely liked Kobe Bryant's basketball on the N64.
Wow.
I remember King Griffey's baseball on the Super Nintendo. I really like that.
That was like a big-ish one. Because a lot of people had that. I had that.
I mean, it was like a
That seemed like a big deal.
Nintendo-made game and stuff like that. At least they published it and stuff. It was like a big deal. And at that time, it was like a lot of good baseball games, and I was like more into baseball and stuff like that. But this question is actually very easy for me to answer. This is my number one sports game of all time. It was the game that we played almost the most as kids because it's the one that I could get all my brothers to play with me. It was Super Tecmo Bowl. Super Tecmo Bowl on the NES is a classic. I mean, there's a reason like people still play this in tournaments to this day. It's a really good game. Obviously, people know about like playing as Bo Jackson or even Barry Sanders. Being able to like completely run over the other team, Jerry Rice being very good in that game as well. And also that was a time when you did have these like Mount Rushmore of football players all playing at the same time. So it was just, it was really good, really solid, and it was still like 100% arcadey wildness. So just doing the full drop back of like, we are on the opponent's 30-yard line. We need to get in the end zone. We are going to throw the ball, and to do so, we are going to drop all the way back into our own end zone and then throw it 110 yards into the back of the other end zone. And that's just, it never got old. We played that so much. Even before we played regular Tecmo Bowl, before Super Tecmo Bowl, which I'm like trying to remember like what the differences were. I mean, obviously there was like a playoff mode and things like that, and it had updated rosters. I think they added more of those Tecmo cutscenes though in Super Tecmo Bowl, and I still to this day that's like one of my favorite 8-bit styles is those cut-ins of those Tecmo games of just like, oh, we're gonna do the Ninja Gaiden cutscene but in this football game, and you're gonna go up for a cool high five or hear the cheerleaders cheering you on. It was a great game. I kind of like just talking about it makes me want to go back and play it some more, so I might play some here pretty soon.
I didn't play a whole lot of Tecmo Bowl growing up. My NES, like Nintendo sports game, was actually Bad News Baseball. I feel like everybody talks about like RBI baseball in the NES. We had Bad News Baseball, which was basically the same thing, but it was cuter. Like there was cuter characters and stuff. We liked that a lot. Very fun home run animation, stuff like that.
Did you ever play? Well, maybe some. I know we all have kids listening. Base Wars, the cyborg baseball game. Did you ever play that one?
No, and I wish I did. It looks like
That's
something I would
so
have liked.
fun. That's such a good game. Yeah, I love it.
I didn't play any of those like Mutant League baseball or football. I mean, or Mutant League hockey. I kind of missed out on those somehow.
I missed them out. I missed them at the time. It definitely seemed like a cool thing, but I missed them at the time.
And T-Bug, I'm not sure if it was actually like based off of Bad News Bears, the movie, or if it just was stealing its name. I don't know, but it was called Bad News Baseball. I'm pretty sure, and I like that. This might be a stretch, Jeff, but I think technically my answer would just be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on the GameCube.
No, that's fair. That's in the Olympics now, skateboarding. So yeah.
There you go.
I mean, honestly, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just played through it again. It's a game where every time I start it, I'm going to play through a career mode and like 100% the career mode. And what's great is even when you do that, there's so many incentives to beat it with multiple characters, even multiple custom characters. You unlock fun things like Darth Maul and all these other weird extra characters. I like the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games a lot, and 3 is probably my favorite. So many good levels. The airport might be my favorite Tony Hawk's Pro Skater level. The Foundry's fantastic. Suburbia, super fun. Even that cruise ship at the end, that's a great final level. Good stuff. So there's a lot of answers we could pick from here, Jeff. Let's see what the community has to say.
Yep.
Nick Turbo says, everyone talks about Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Strikers, but no one really brings up Mario Superstar Baseball or Mario Super Sluggers. These are just some fun baseball games with a bunch of Mario charm that don't get as much attention as I think they should. Jeff, I barely play these games. Baseball is my favorite sport. I am very curious to actually check these out. I want to get the GameCube one pretty soon here and see what's
this is the GameCube and Wii game?
GameCube and Wii. What I remember most about the GameCube version, or whatever one I saw, I just like that Donkey Kong didn't hold a bat. He just stuck his arm out, which made a lot of sense. That's good character work there.
Yep, absolutely. Wait, who developed those games? That wasn't like Next Level or
It wasn't Next Level, but I know one of them like kind of had that Mario Strikers art to it. It almost like seemed adjacent to Strikers, because especially the one that was called Sluggers. It's like Strikers, Sluggers. Yeah, it was Bandai Namco, says T-Bucket, which makes sense.
Yeah, cool.
So I would like to try those. Dr. Turbo says there were a lot of amazing games like Tony Hawk, Mario Kart 8, but there's no other possible answer for me. Wii Sports is everything it needed to be. It made everyone want a Wii. I mean, Wii Sports would always be a pretty fine answer here, Jeff. It's a bunch of fun games in one, and they're all very good. what is the most iconic one to you when you think about Wii Sports? Is it tennis?
It's tennis. Well, it's bowling. It's bowling, but just barely.
Just barely. No love for golf.
No, I feel like if golf were that iconic, it would have been in the base version of Nintendo Switch Sports and stuff
That's
like.
true.
Yeah, I mean, I love that golf game. Actually, I love playing golf in Wii Sports. It was legit fun.
Now I think about it, Wii Sports did have baseball, so that must have been the actual least favorite of the games there, right?
Yeah, probably. Oh no, boxing. Boxing was the least favorite.
That's right. It had boxing.
Boxing was just
work very well.
it just didn't work.
Let's see. Breadfish says Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color. It's the perfect blend of light RPG and ultra tight golf mechanics. And the color palette / soundtrack / overall aesthetic is peak Game Boy Color nostalgia, not to be confused with entirely separate Game Boy nostalgia. Also, the soundtrack was composed by the Dark Souls composer. Isn't that neato? That is neato.
That's cool.
All of you Analog Pocket Chads have no excuse. Give it a try. Jeff, you get mad at me because I love the Game Boy Advance Mario Golf game, which is very similar, but have not played the Game Boy Color one.
Game Boy Color one is legit fantastic. Yes.
But the Game Boy Advance one would probably be like number 2 for me. It is a very good sports game. Wonder vs. CPU says WCW versus NWO Revenge. Why not No Mercy? Because Revenge had Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon, La Parka, and Sting. No wrestling game has even come close to touching that intro, in which Sting resurrects from a flaming headstone, shoots down from the sky on a lightning bolt, and then probably beats that trucker's ass and drives his truck to Nitro. I guess the NWO killed Sting in that timeline, but he came back from the dead to save WCW from constant interference and DQ finishes and get his revenge. I specifically said that pro wrestling games counted, Jeff, kind of hoping that people would just bring up No Mercy and WCW versus NWO Revenge. 2 games I would like to play again. Very much so. We should have a night where we play through both of these, actually. That would be a lot of fun.
We should play through and we should do some network play. Like, that would be fun.
We could do couch play, Jeff.
We could do couch play. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I got an idea. All right, yes, cool. Let's
There
make
you
something
go.
happen, yeah.
Yeah, because they have creative wrestlers in those. You
Yeah,
can make
totally.
us,
Yeah.
Good stuff. Screaming Turbo Madden says, I mean, isn't it obvious? It's Madden NFL 2003 on the GameCube. Boom. A classic football game where you could not only be the NFL teams, but European Football League teams.
I remember this, yes.
It also had a great creative team feature and debuted mini camp mode, which had mini camp drills as mini games. And did I mention, whenever you boot up the game, the first song that plays is Andrew WK's Party Hard. As somebody who doesn't play a lot of Madden games, I'd be pretty interested to see like what the Madden tier list is. Like, what are considered the best Madden games of all time?
Yeah, I bet that this around this period is probably pretty high. The period right after NFL Game Day, when they really had to try in that PlayStation era, those were really good. And then NFL 2006, like right after the NFL 2K games, those are probably the top tier ones. Obviously, maybe some modern ones too, but like those early 3D ones were so good. I think with the European Football League stuff. Ryan Fitzpatrick. For some reason, I just like really gotten this idea as playing one of those teams. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is, I think he's done playing football, but I remember like, him being the quarterback for the team. I'm like, this guy's never going anywhere, and then he's like been floating around the league for 17 years after that. So, yeah.
Benji Glasskey says many view hunting as a sport, so the best sports game is Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Remember when they actually made like story-based Cabela games for like the Xbox 360? Just speaking of hunting games.
Yeah, absolutely.
What the hell? Gruntilda's ass says probably Mario Golf on Game Boy Color or Sports Story, but 2 fantastic games that may not get some love are NBA Hang Time and Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey. Jeff, I wish I knew as a kid that NBA Hang Time was just the sequel to NBA Jam. I just didn't know back then, or else I would have liked it a lot. Meanwhile, like the NBA Jam we got for Nintendo 64 was bad. Hang Time is supposed to be amazing. People like Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey quite a bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think like that's probably one of those top tier arcade 3D hockey games for sure. I mean, Ice Hockey for NES is also a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like when people talk about like retro hockey games, the NHL 94
that's
Genesis,
that's the top tier. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bench JC says the best sports game is Mario Super Sluggers. It is incredible, and the Wii motion controls work great with it. Remember being a kid and just having a blast. The roster is also very big. I want to play this. How did I miss this? Casual says recency bias is probably at play here, but I'm still going to say Neo Turf Masters on the Switch. Hitting the links with that Neo Geo Ting soundtrack playing the background just feels right. I mean, people love that golf game, Jeff.
I mean, when I first got the Switch, that was like one of those first arcade, what do they call them? The arcade ports that were.
The arcade originals or something.
Something like that, yeah. And I got that. I played a lot of Neo Turf Masters on the Switch. I want to play that on the OLED and see what Neo Turf Masters looks like.
I mean,
I love that game. That's good.
It's a very good looking game.
Yep.
Bibbidi,
Arcade Archives. Thank you, Sean.
That's it. Bibbidi Bob says the answer will be Sports Story. However, because I cannot legally answer with that game yet, next up will be Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color. I'm a big golf guy, so the fact that this game took precedence over Golf Story or the Mario golf games means a lot. Amazing RPG mechanics, fast action-paced rally, singles or double options, fun mini games, and a huge surprise for in-game content. The gold standard for sports games. I wish Nintendo would get back to. Okay, so I mentioned this before, Jeff. I just played the Game Boy Advance one, and like that, no one's saying the Game Boy Advance one. They're all saying the Game Boy Color one. Is that one actually better than the Game Boy Advance one?
I'm hesitant to say better. I would imagine a big part of this is whichever one you played first. Because, and I bet a lot of people would like, you played the Mario Golf or Mario Tennis game on Game Boy Color, and they are fantastic. They are really good. That Mario Tennis game for Game Boy Color is great. And then the Game Boy Advance comes around, and you might not get those games again. You're like, well, I just play those on Game Boy Color. I'll play something else. Or maybe this time I played the tennis one. This time I'll play the golf one. I think probably yes, when it comes down to it, the Game Boy Color versions probably are a little bit better.
Velocity Prime 1 says, NBA Street Volume 3. Where else can you pit the Miami Heat against the cast of the Mushroom Kingdom? Though in actuality, I'll say Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Not the best of the series, but the one I sunk the most time into. Because if I was looking into the Street games, because, for GameCube collecting, and although 3 has the Mario characters, apparently 2 is the better playing one.
Yeah. I mean, you could just come to your old friend Jeffrey about that one, NBA Street Volume 2. I literally, I will have a passage in a book that's coming up about best games of the year of like all time or whatever. And for that year, I chose NBA Street Volume 2, and I wrote a whole thing about it. So, yeah.
I'll have to track that one down so we can play it sometime.
Yeah. Oh, it is incredible. It's so good. There was like a whole year there where I just go over to a friend's house, and it was like the hangout, chill, drinking house or whatever. We were always playing NBA Street Volume 2 long after NBA Street Volume 3 came out.
Doc7 said, Wii Sports was mind-blowing to me as an early teen playing at a friend's house. My family finally got a Wii X-Mix 2010. My younger brother and I played nonstop the entire break. I think a lot of people have a lot of good memories with Wii Sports, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Ed says, picture poker from New Super Mario Brothers DS. Luigi taught me how to play poker when I was 10. Poker is a sport. I Googled it. I do like poker. I had Vegas Dreams on the NES. That was like the gambling game I had. And that game makes me feel very nostalgic, actually. Vegas Dreams is a vibe.
I don't think I've ever played it.
It's why I am careful about gambling too much, because even though I know it's obnoxious and all this shit, the casino vibe somehow triggers something in me.
Yep, definitely.
And I think it's because I played Vegas Dream when I was 3. I think that's the problem. Lolly Sup said, Wayne Gretzky 3D hockey for the Nintendo 64. It seems so visually impressive coming from the previous console generation. Sometimes your goalie would transform into a brick wall. Well, that's always fun. Pablo Costa says, do marbles count as a sport? If so, then Marble Madness is my... Well, you're not playing the game of marbles in Marble Madness. No, but really, my favorite sports video game on a Nintendo console is an old one, Ultimate Basketball for the NES. The game, published by Sammy long before Patch of Slots, was fantastic. Fast-paced action, a killer soundtrack, and solid multiplayer. Had a lot of fun with that game during my childhood. Jeff, I didn't play too many NES basketball games. I know there was one. It was like Larry Bird versus somebody. I
played a lot of them because that right around that time was when the Pistons were like very successful. So basketball was very big where I was growing up. Double Dribble was very good. Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball, not very good, but we love Bill Lambier, so we played a little bit of it. Dr. J versus Michael versus Larry Bird might have been on the NES. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think
so.
Of those, Double Dribble
Jordan
might have been
Bird.
Yeah, Jordan versus Bird. And before that, I think I was playing computer games too, so it was like that was like Dr. J versus Magic or something like that. Yeah.
I don't think I have any affinity for pre-NBA Jam basketball games, to be honest.
Yeah, they're very simple. Yeah.
Mr. Bohr says, I'm going to have to go with Mario Golf for the Nintendo 64. I had a lot of fun playing this game, both single player and with friends. In addition to having fun golf mechanics, Mario Golf had good mini golf courses and modes like Ring Shot, where you had to shoot the ball through rings on the course while still getting par. There are a lot of characters to unlock, including surprising Mario, and you could transfer your characters from the also very good Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color through the transfer pack. Oh, so they had another use for that aside from Pokemon Stadium. And of course, you could have the characters yell taunts while your friends were trying to golf, which automatically makes it more fun than real golf. Soysuke says NFL Streets was so good. Tier of sports games on the GameCube. Jeff, we love NBA Street. How was NFL Streets?
It was fun. It was okay. It wasn't as good. I mean, NBA Street Volume 2 is a perfect game and one of the best games I've ever made. Wow. None of the other games come close, but NFL Street was fun. I think FIFA Soccer Street, whatever it was, that was pretty good. It might be better than NFL Street. NFL Street was just kind of like a pretty fun game for a couple of weekends.
Hosh says, let me give the most British of answers and say Football Manager on Switch. the PC sports management series that I've sank thousands of hours into.
Yes.
On Switch, it's good, though a cut down version. Wait, the full game's on Steam
Oh,
Deck?
no.
Well, fuck this shit, then give me Golf Story. There you go. Fluffy Cloud Gamer says, Mario Super Sluggers has been mentioned a few times, but to add to the love, man, a lot of mention for this. More so than even the GameCube one, it seems like. The story mode was really interesting as it allowed players to explore the outside of each of the ballparks, searching for players, solving some puzzles, and completing baseball-related challenges. I love baseball-related challenges. Just
my
had a
favorite
great time
kinds
with
of
it.
challenges.
Yeah. And it is just ahead of Mario Tennis Power Tour as my favorite Nintendo sports game. Special shout out to the long-forgotten sports fair events in the first Animal Crossing that you can watch but couldn't participate in. Lol. I forgot about those. Nintendo Bro says there will never be a better sports game to grace any platform than NFL Blitz on the Nintendo 64. This is the only correct answer.
That was great.
You know, I know there was a Blitz game for PlayStation. There aren't too many third-party games that you associate more with the 64 than the PlayStation. But NFL Blitz was such a good 64 game, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it had like from the beginning, they might have been making it with like the that hardware in mind, but it just looks like a blocky N64 game.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a chunky boy.
Yeah.
The Uncharted Wolf says, well, this is awkward. Yet again, I'm not a fan of any Nintendo sports games. I hate to keep being so negative. I swear I like Nintendo, but I guess I was unlucky that my two least favorite genres were chosen 2 weeks in a row. If I had to answer it, I go Home Run Contest and Super Smash Bros. We'll allow that. Gerbear says, too many sports games are happy fun times. Proper, serious sport is about people at their physical peak, blurring the lines between humanity and deity, pushing themselves and their opponents to the limit in a titanic struggle that grabs you, the spectator, and won't let go as you bear witness to this war of wills where every intake of breath is sharper than the last, where sweat drenched uniforms cling. Shut the fuck up, Jeff. No one asked you. Where sweat-drenched uniforms. Maybe they're sweet. Sweat could be sweet. I bet Daisy sweats sweet. Ever tighter to taut muscles, and where your own heart beats ever faster. It's some bizarre act of solidarity with the athlete's struggle before you share in the sweet release of tension at the final definitive moment of victory. Clearly, the one true great sports game is Dead or Alive Extreme 3.
I think that was a long euphemism for sex.
Did that game even come out on a Nintendo platform?
I don't know. Yeah, the 3DS.
I don't think so. Just this guy, says by amount of time played in my life, it would probably have to go to Game Day 98, Joe Montana Football, Mutant League Football, or Wii Sports Resort Golf. Most recently, probably Golf Story or Golf Club Wasteland. Jeff, there's this beautiful alternate history where Game Day became the mega franchise, and Madden is something we are like, remember Madden?
Yeah, that was like one that like killed itself. Like 989 Sports and Sony just could not maintain that level. Eventually, EA got wise. It's like, we just kill this competition before it really gets us, and that's what they do with 2K and when they got the exclusive rights. But yeah, Game Day was fantastic in 98, 97, 90, especially in 98. It was really good. People are saying DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball came out on the Switch.
Wow. I will download that later. Shoji Koto says the OG NFL Blitz on Nintendo 64, one of the best sports games ever, but far and away the best sports game to ever grace a Nintendo system. So some more NFL Blitz love. Revan says obviously it's StarCraft 2. Oh no, he blacked it out. It's actually Soul Calibur 2, the best Soul Calibur game. Fighting games aren't sports games. I'll just say it, Jeff. I'm sorry. I know I was lenient with pro wrestling.
MMA is a sport. I guess this, fair enough.
Yeah. Jotten says Punch Out will always be a favorite of mine. Man, does Punch Out count, Jeff? Huh? Because you would probably say Punch Out then.
Yeah, true. I would. I'd probably Punch Out for no Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but they're all so good.
Tyler James Bay says Super Mario Strikers. I bought this game with my very first paycheck when I was 17 in the summer of 2006 and spent the majority of my summer playing this game over and over again while for some reason listening to a Best of Genesis CD. I want to know what was on that CD now.
Yeah.
I bet it had some Streets of Rage, some Sonic, maybe a little.
It's just Yuzo Koshiro tracks on repeat, which is the right thing.
Major Phazon says, honestly, recently I found I really like Kirby Dream Course. Oh shit, we forgot about Kirby Dream Course.
That's a great sports game, yeah.
But before then, I'd say I really loved the first Strikers. Never played Charge on the Wii, but I think that Battle League is just all right. Jeff, me and you seem to like Battle League a lot more than most people. Maybe because we are such Johnny-come-latelys to this franchise.
Probably. It probably is us more than the game, but I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's great. I think history is going to be kind to Battle League.
Turbo Sean has a good point. Jeff, are we just big fucking nerds and didn't realize that Tyler was talking about the band Genesis when he said the best of Genesis?
Yes.
I mean, look, in the context.
Yeah, right. Come on, give us a break here.
And he says, for some reason, I think it still could be Sega
I'm sorry
Genesis.
that I'm just not always thinking about Phil Collins like some of you.
Look, we all know that the order was Sega Genesis, Phil Collins, Band Genesis, and then the Bible verse. That was the order those things were created. Yes, exactly.
And then the other guy that was leading Genesis before Phil Collins, below the Bible.
Well, who needs to know about that? Razzle Jazzle says, if third-party multi-plat snowboarding games count, then I have to answer SSX Tricky on the GameCube. So many fun memories of that game. I mean, we had a few games, Jeff, that were kind of like racing games and sports games, like SSX, maybe even kind of like Wave Race. So they're skirting a line here. Turbo Sean says, Midway's arcade sports games are among my favorite games ever, to the point that their turbo meters practically inspired this username. That's where it came from. Remember when everybody was turbo for a bit? That was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time in the Discord there.
Specific to Nintendo, shouts to NFL Blitz and NBA Hang Time on Nintendo 64 and the NBA Street Series that hit the GameCube and expertly carried on and expanded upon that legacy. My big takeaway, Jeff, is one, I really want to play the Mario baseball games, but I really need to get NBA Street Volume 2 for this GameCube setup that I have now.
That was probably a pretty popular game. It's probably not too expensive. I don't know if you've
No,
looked into it.
I think I saw one of them at a store once. I think it was actually Volume 3, though, and I didn't because I'm like, well, everyone says 2 is the good one.
2 is
so I should probably
the great one. Right now, when I type in @Turbo on the Discord, it's Dr. Turbo Sus, Screaming Turbo Madden, Nick Turbo, Turbo Obama, Turbo Addiction, and Turbo Sean. So
we still got some turbos.
Still representing.
Great. Jeff, before we talk about what else we've been playing this week, why don't we catch up on some of the super chats? I think a bunch more came in.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to look through here. I think I have all of them in front of me. Let me go with Victor Alistine. Who says, any thoughts on the Logitech handheld? Yeah, did you see this, Mike? Were you watching the Bombcast when we talked about it?
Is this the one that looked like, this is the one that looks like an old, one of those flip phone things that you like,
No,
right?
no, that's the INEO slide. That's something else.
I missed a little bit of the Bombcast when I went to get lunch. Is that what you talked about?
So, yeah, probably. It's the Logitech handheld. It looks like a Switch Lite, maybe a little bit bigger than that. And it's their basically they pitched it as their cloud streaming handheld.
Okay, so
but it's gonna have
more cloud streaming, less Steam Decky.
Honestly, to me, what it really is, it sounds like is a Retroid Pocket or one of those Ambernicks. It sounds like one of those Chinese handhelds because it has Android and Google Play built in. So you're going to be able to download all those emulators, and you're going to be able to download whatever cloud streaming service you want. But if you want to just play old games on a handheld from Logitech, you can do that. So it's probably going to be like $150 like a lot of these other ones. It's probably going to be a little bit more expensive, like the Logitech tax compared to just like some no-name Chinese company. I think it looks pretty cool, but if it is basically just an older Android phone with a controller stuck to it, you could probably find some better stuff than what this thing's going to end up being. I suppose we could wait and find out, but for the most part, there's a lot of stuff always happening in that space, and you don't need Logitech and Tencent to like get all the benefits of it.
Fair.
Steve Sullivan, do you think we'll see Galaxy 2 on the Switch, or should we wait for new hardware for the Yoshi limitations?
I mean, I'm not expecting it now, Jeff, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
I love Super Mario Galaxy 2. What a good video game.
I bet EmuDeck has like a profile built into it for that now. I should look into that and see if like.
Well, yeah, maybe for Steam Deck, but I don't. You explain why before pretty well.
It's because it's not just motion controls; it is direct pointer controls, And so they don't have a good way of doing that where you are able to point at the screen. I mean, they could figure it out, but like you are controlling Yoshi's
there's, like,
tongue
some
very
stuff, like,
accurately.
There's like, they do it a little bit with like you tilt to move a cursor around, and that's
Yes.
like kind of a solution. It's not a very elegant one.
And I think they just they don't want to solve that problem. It's too much work.
Now maybe that means they would just do a lot more work to Mario Galaxy 2 because it's so good, but
I would hope so, but we'll see. Forrest Minish, I think this is their second one, but either way, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. What are they going to put in place of the Tingle Bottle / Tingle Tuner and Wind Waker HD for Switch?
Yeah, that is a good question. Because so in the GameCube version, you had like the connectivity with the Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Wii U, it worked. It was like different. It was like gamepad focused. God, what's the Tinglelution going to be with the Switch? Is it going to connect to the awful Nintendo Switch app? Is that going to be a thing?
Oh, that'd be very funny. Yeah, it's like get your Nintendo Switch Online Tingle Tuner. Yeah, I hope so. That's probably the right answer. From AM,
Maybe he sends you nudes every time you get one of the
well then
Triforce pieces.
This game better come out soon because I need him. From AMW 2003, is there any shot the Mario and Luigi games could get ported to Switch, or they just make a new game entirely? I think it's very unlikely that any of those dual screen games, which is all of them, and I mean, really at this point,
it is all of them, isn't it? Except for the first one.
Except for the first one, but even then, that one they already remade, so they would probably want to do something with that version, even though, the original still has the better visuals.
Yes.
It's very unlikely that any of those go through the porting process without Alpha Dream there to spearhead it. And I think the fact that the Alpha Dream failed in the process of doing that in the late life of the 3DS would probably discourage anyone from trying to follow in those footsteps. It's a shame. Maybe they do another new Mario and Luigi in the future with a new studio, but probably not. From Infernal Tim 1, have you guys heard thoughts from anyone inside Sony's competitors dealing with the PS5 price hikes? I'm really curious as to how that went over with Microsoft and Nintendo higher ups. It's probably the kind of thing where they're like, shit, they did it. That's pretty wild. And probably doesn't go too far beyond that because, all these companies are dealing with different factors preventing them from going through with something like that. So it was probably like, maybe we should have more discussions about maybe thinking about doing this if like things get really wild with the economy. But for the most part, they're just like, listen, right now, if things stay as is, we don't have to raise the price.
I mean, Nintendo's just going to be able to launch their next Switch at a higher price than they maybe would have done a year ago. And that's how they can do this.
Right. So, yeah, they don't have to worry about this too much. They're not going to raise the price again on the Switch. They don't have to. They can just set whatever price they need to for the next hardware. And Microsoft's just not worried about it. It's just not part of Microsoft's strategy. If anything, they would raise the price of Xbox Game Pass. And I don't know if they're going to do that until they get some bigger games out. So we'll see. And I think I got this one from AMW 2003 earlier. Where's Mario Sunshine 2? Did I not ask that? Maybe
yes, I remember we talked about.
That's
or was that just a new similar chat? We talked about Mario Sunshine 2.
No, I think we touched on this one. Either way, but yeah. Thank you for all the super chats, everybody. We
did
really appreciate
get one
it.
newer one that came in from Victor Allenstein.
Yeah, Victor Allenstein with another one here. Do you think WBD will end up on the market again?
Warner Brothers Discovery.
Oh, okay. I mean, everyone will always take a call if someone's interested in buying something from Warner Brothers Discovery, but it's just not. The factors aren't going to change. They aren't going to sell their IP, so those studios will still be kind of difficult to justify to any company coming up with $4 billion and not getting IP. IP matters more than the studios and the talent for these acquisitions, for like why these acquisitions matter. I mean, you saw, like, just go back to Minecraft, like whatever, $2 billion or whatever it was. They got Minecraft. They did not get Notch. Like, that's kind of what you would expect to be more important throughout all these deals.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They're probably real sad.
Yeah, right? What a bummer.
All right, Jeff. That's it for Super Chats and everything else for now. If you guys have more, we have a little bit of show here. We will read them if you get them in. But, Jeff, what have you been playing on your Nintendo Switch? I feel like I just said that exactly like Jan would. I'm like listening to your new friends and I'm copying their mannerisms now.
Yeah, it still came out in a very Mike Minotti way, but I understand.
Good.
Now that you pointed it out, I'm like, I guess you did, but no, you sound like
I'm my own man.
You cannot help but sound like Mike Minotti. I played Super Mario 3D World on Unprofessional Fridays on Friday, and I had a good time. Not everyone else did.
You had a good time.
It was just kind of things where I'm like, I want to do this. This sounds fun. And if like Jess mentioned in chat somewhere that she's like, I don't find that game very fun. I did not see it. So it's just like, yay, we're doing this. And I just ran ahead and wasn't paying attention. Then we were doing it. And it's like, oh, clearly this is not everyone's favorite. So we probably should have played something else. But I was having a good time. That game is just, it's real solid. It is rough to play online, though, at least with 4 players.
I've never liked any of the 4-player Mario stuff, even like the new Super Mario Brothers games, and that I actually don't like playing any of those multiplayer. Now, I used to be anti 3D Land back when it was a Wii U game. Then the Switch port came out, and I
3D World,
really fell in love with it.
Yeah,
it completely won me over. But playing by myself, no, I don't want to.
Well, I mean, as a single player game, it's very good. But the real issue is, and she touched on this a lot, Jess, is it feels so slippery. There is a significant input lag with online mode. It is.
I was wondering what that was, because that
really
would make
rough.
a lot of sense. Yes,
it is.
I could see how that would. Yeah,
it is. It's something where it's like, okay, if I want to have this chaos and I want to have this wild scenario where I am trying to get, Dan Reichert and Jan and Jess all through this level, and we're all trying to get there, we're all yelling at each other. To me, that sounds like a good time, even with input lag. Once you get used to the input lag, it's just like if you already don't love the game and then you have to deal with that input lag on top of that, it's a killer. It's an absolute killer.
It can be so stressful because there are a lot of like pretty precise things you have to do. There's like we have to hit all of these switches, but like it's hard to communicate that amongst 4 people to say, yeah, I could see it. It's gonna be fun. And then, oops, actually, this is kind of stressful and weird, and people have different experiences and different levels with this game, and it's a hard thing to just mix into a pot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the kind of thing where like, okay, coming out of that, Dan was like, hey, do you want to play Bowser, like race in Bowser's Fury 100%? I'm like, yes, I want to do that. So we're gonna do that. Like, it's gonna be like a 6-hour stream, but we're gonna like start early one day and just go for that. So I started playing a little bit of Bowser's Fury to refamiliarize myself with that game. That is a very good video game.
It's very good, even though I'm traumatized by it a little bit.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I mean, Bowser's Fury is just really neat how they just took like 3D Land's mechanics and made something new out of it. It's going to be so weird in the future when it's like, let's rank all the best 3D Mario games. Like, how do we count this one? Because I mean, it is just this whole separate, unique thing. It's doing different things. God, I do like that, and now I do kind of want to play it again.
Jedi Moss 4 in chat says 3D World is as good as a 2-player game, and that I know from experience. I played a lot of that game on Wii U with my wife. Like we played through almost to the end, I think, and we had a great time playing it. So yeah, and that was local though. That was local on a Wii U. It worked great, but that's a good way to play that game. And then I played Splatfest. I played a few rounds. I was getting connection issues where it was like, oh, your connection is unstable, and we're kicking you out. And I would try to go back into another match of like, hey, you left the last game. Like, motherfucker, no, I didn't. I got disconnected, and it was very frustrating.
That was happening to a lot of people, especially in like the second half of
I
the
think
day.
so. I was like not like ready to like blame the game really. I'm just like, oh, this is just, or like, or to think like this is just happening to me. I think it was like, oh, everyone's kind of having
a lot of people playing that.
Yes. I did get to play a like 2 or 3 full matches. And, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I am ready for Splatoon to be here. Yes. I'm ready for everyone to be playing it. I'm ready for us to have game nights. I just want Splatoon here now. I can't wait to see what that like single player really looks like. I know they did a Treehouse Live about it, but I'm like, that's just like a puzzle platform action game that I'm ready to get through it as well. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 3, still playing it. This is 4 weeks in a row.
I've been able to finally play some more of it because that game I was reviewing instead that I was talking about was the Cowabunga collection. So now that my review for that is out, I've been able to play a bit more of Splatoon 3. And I really, I like it more than Splatoon 2 already. I think it's just tone. I'm just gelling with it a lot more. So it's been fun. I'm dropping the link in for this Zelda shirt. I think chat or our Patreon friends on Discord found it, so I'm gonna.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
In case anybody's interested in that, but yeah, I have been playing the Cowabunga collection, Jeff, quite a bit. Like sometimes with collections, it's like, well, I could just play a little bit of these things because I played these games. I know. I ended up playing through most of these games again. Now, granted, they're like older games and beat 'em, so they're not super long. I had a good time. Got like Manhattan Project on the NES. I forget just how good that is. That's like one of my favorite NES games now. I'm more nostalgic for 2 just because that was the one
Oh
I
my God,
had.
I'm buying
like, really
so
early
many
as
of
a
these
kid.
shirts. I'm sorry. I'm buying
Yeah,
like
they're-
4 of these shirts right now.
They're good. They're good stuff there. Oh, it's like all Hawaiian shit. What do they have?
They have Studio
there's a
Ghibli
studio- oh,
Spirited
shit.
Away.
Oh, I might need that even.
The bathhouse. They have a Wolverine. I'm gonna get that. I like Wolverine a lot. There's a Nintendo Super Mario Icons.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Tropical Woven.
X-Men.
Oh my God, I'm getting those 4 right there.
Oh, the Pokemon Island Life. Damn. Oh,
Yeah.
the Jurassic Park one is pretty good.
Sorry, everybody. We're going Hawaiian shirt bros on this one.
It's happening. This
Yep.
is our life now. You made fun of AJ when he did this 10 years
Hey,
ago.
no, we're in
now
our
it's just
30s
me.
now. This is the acceptable
Now
time
it's
to
cool.
do it.
Yeah, he was just too. It's not being a trailblazer when you're too early. Then it's just kind of weird.
Exactly.
But man, those turtle games. Even though I was like worried that Shredder's Revenge had so many like expanded mechanics that the new ones would feel too old, it really was fine. I still actually had a pretty good time with them. Then there's weird surprises like Radical Rescue on the Game Boy, which is actually a Metroidvania with like literally even Super Metroid style map that you can access. That's just wild. And that is pretty fun.
These shirts are mostly sold out. God damn it. All right.
Yeah, well, got to find a. Oh, hey, there's a box lunch in the mall here. They might have some more of them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I might go.
I know. I'm
for it.
shocked that AJ actually bought this in Boorman, Ohio. That's what really surprises me.
Right, that's pretty wild. That's I'm happy for you. I'm glad
That
you're able to
reminds
get it.
me, there's gonna be more Final Fantasy shirts on sale on the first. Jeff, I know you've been paying attention. Do you have any questions about the Cowabunga collection for me?
No, I think I'm just happy that you are so into it. Like it's surprising that like so many of the games hit for you. I think like
Yeah.
a lot of times these collections come and the people who put together the collections seem frustrated that like they get dinged on the quality of the games, and that definitely still happened a little bit here. But I think it helped that so many people were like, "Hey, 3 or 4 of these games are worth revisiting pretty regularly,"
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
impressive.
Turtles in Time is still just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, the end is, plus like the things you expect to get, like rewind and save states. It helps it so that I actually played through that first NES game, the bullshit one, and it is bullshit. It was somehow still kind of fun to play through with rewind and save states and just doing whatever it took to get through it while I was watching YouTube videos, whatever, in bed. It's like, yeah, I remember when the Angry Video Game Nerd made a video about this level. Oh, there's that jump that he hated. Ha ha ha. Stuff like that. But yeah, I have a lot of nostalgic for a lot of these games, for the Turtles, and for beat 'em ups. So I had a really, really good time with it. And Digital Clips did a great job here.
Yeah, I mean, of course they did. They always do. And I'm gonna, I'll be installing. I think I probably got a code somewhere. I just missed out on it, so I'll just get it from Steam now, put it on my Steam Deck, and I'll probably play through a couple of these things. And I think I'll definitely be playing through the Game Boy One and Manhattan Project.
Maybe get it on. It all runs well on Switch, plus easier for multiplayer.
Oh,
I
okay.
imagine.
Yeah, then I'll get it there.
I would
I'll
just get it on.
I'll
I
get it
think
on
Switch
Switch.
will make sense for this one.
Yeah, I probably
Plus,
should look into that code.
Yeah. And there are like nice little like feature, like there's options for each game. So, like for the NES games, you can turn off sprite flickering. You can turn off, the slowdown and stuff like that, which is just very nice. So
Yes.
yeah. Even still, like I played through all these. Part of me is like, I kind of want to play through Manhattan Project and Turtles in Time again, and maybe use save states even less and just all this stuff. It was good. Jeff, we got a few more super chats. How about we read those and then we'll get out of here?
Yeah,
maybe we
sounds-
just got one more.
Sounds good. I'm looking
2
here. No,
more.
I think we got 2 more. From Dan Becker, just absolutely like playing to the choir here. Wave Race 64 is legit my favorite game of all time. Hell yeah, Dan Becker. It is so good. I'm glad you said that. Then Victor Alistine with another one. Thank you so much, Victor. Great show, guys. Are there any games that intrigued you at Gamescom? Also, Focus seemed to have some really good games at Gamescom, like Atlas Fallen. Yeah, I think Focus is a pretty decent publisher, actually. I mean, I say that because they put out SnowRunner, but I think overall they put out like Hard Space Shipbreaker. That was them as well, maybe not, but they've had some good games, absolutely. I don't know. Did anything stand out to you at Gamescom, Mike?
I mean, Lies of P, like a lot of people. I'm hopeful for that, and I was happy to see more Monkey Island. So I guess those are the big things there.
I will play Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There you go.
I will probably not, unless you want me to play with you and you give me a code or something.
Fair enough. We'll figure it out. All right, Mike. I think that does it for the super chats. Anything else you want to talk about?
No. I think we are good. So hopefully people believed us this time.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully everything goes as we've heard so far. Right? Yeah. It seems like it. Well, there's definitely a direct, but we'll see. We'll see exactly what's going to happen.
If there's not a
there.
direct, I'll shave my beard.
There we go. Here, you heard it, everybody. Oh man, I'm excited. Oh my, what if it doesn't happen? What if he's got we're gonna see babyface Mikey?
Well, I didn't say anything about the mustache.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. Actually, we'll see.
That'd be
Maybe I'll wear the
pretty fun.
mustache for a day. I won't have to anyways because it's going to be a direct.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Where can people find more of you at?
Giant Bomb. We got a lot of quick looks going up this week. I put up one for Tinykin, which I think is on the Switch. I think it's everywhere. I think it's on the Switch. I should have talked about that game, but I played like the first level and a half. I'm going to play some more of it soon. It is a Pikmin platformer. It's
Yeah.
like if Pikmin was a platformer. Go watch that quick look. It's like got me really into it.
Thursday. Game aside.
Bye, everybody.
Come on, go cruising, cruising. Come on, go cruising. Let's go cruising.
Oh, yeah.
Cruising. Let's go cruising.
It's a blast.
Come on, let's go cruising.
Enjoy your gaming.